Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We will get started here in just a minute or two. Oops, that is not what I wanted to do. We'll get started here in just a minute or two. I just want to make sure that I give some people every chance to filter in before we get started. Technical difficulties here. I'm trying out some new waiting screens here for the new dude. One of these days, I will learn how to use OBS properly with the overlays and stuff like that, and this will be less of an issue. Hello, Haster. Welcome, friend. How are you? Just load the game up here. It's been a couple weeks since I played this guy because I streamed Jagasta last week. Actually, come to think of it, I think maybe I played this guy earlier in the week. You've been better? I think I like that helmet very much. Everything okay over there? Just feel a bit off? Yeah, we all have days like that. think we need to get this guy a proper shaman helmet. Or shaman. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Okay, so this is my living relic. His name is Brungarr Mammoth-Ban. I streamed him a couple weeks ago, I think, so shouldn't be a stranger to anybody. He was probably wearing different gear. I'm still trying to finalize exactly what I want him to wear. I think we'll get him some kind of one of those bear helmets. Like they come with the actual shaman set from now I'm blanking on immersive armors. The most ubiquitous armor mod out there. I couldn't think of the name. Hey Magus, yeah, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Yeah, so this is my Atmoran living relic here. This is Elysium Estate. I don't think this is gonna be like a big thing in his playthrough or anything. I just needed a player home, and this is the standard one that I have on my warrior base profiles from thing. So there's that. But yeah, we need to get him a better helmet here, I think. Start with immersive weapons or immersive armors. I'm fumbling here. I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey lately, trying to get through my backlog. There's not a whole lot I'm looking forward to in 2021 as far as new games, so I'm labeled this the year of my backlog. Either that or the Forsworn helmet. Yeah, that's a good one too. I think in terms of Atmorans, they're probably more likely to have a more improvised armor set. Can't remember what the plugin is for immersive armors. Hoth, maybe? There we go. Armor compilation. Let's see. We'll try out the shaman. Oh, here we go. That's unarmored, though. Yeah, we'll try the shaman cap first. How do you guys pronounce it? Do you pronounce it shaman or shaman? I've heard it both ways, and I think technically they're both correct. This guy's a light armor guy, so we're kind of limited to that. He's using the Colovian fur armor set from the Bruma, Beyond Skyrim Bruma mod. Let's grab some stuff here. Ew, that's a werewolf. Brungarr is a werewolf using Growl. He does have a 10% chance to transform randomly every night. It's never procced for me, though. I don't think we're going to go werewolf. Shaman, yeah. I think I've said it's shaman in my head for so long that it's hard for me to switch it over. Like when I see that word, my mouth automatically says shaman. Here we go. Shaman light cap. Shaman light cap. I'm sorry if that's distracting. I was using the shaman gloves as well for a while. I don't know which ones I like better, honestly, truth be told. This one actually might go better with the white cloak that I have. Oh, I didn't know you could get the tribunal stuff in light armor. That's pretty awesome, actually. I believe I've never realized that. But yeah, everything else in terms of the boots and the gloves and everything, I might go back to the shaman gloves, but I kind of like the offset thing going on there. And I know it's a Cyrodiilic fur set, technically, but it looks like something, especially with the Galder amulet fragment there that he's wearing. It looks like something that an Atmoran would wear, so I'm into it. Shaman, okay. The color there is just a little bit off, but that still goes pretty well. Kind of goes with his graying beard there too. Let's see how the shaman one looks. This one goes with the fur set just a little bit better, just because it's darker and the underside of the cloak a little better. But it looks a little off. From the back, he looks like a bear wearing a white fur cloak. I think I like the snow bear helmet better, honestly. There was a vagabond one too that had kind of the same aesthetic, didn't it? Let's try that. It's probably exactly the same as the shaman one, huh? I toyed with the idea of using something like this as the gauntlets too, just because the spikes on the fists and stuff make it seem a little more savage, but the plating on it just doesn't seem to go as well with the rest of the fur aesthetic. So let's just see if that offers me anything that the shaman one doesn't, or if it's exactly the same. I'm guessing it's exactly the same. Yeah, maybe just a slightly different tone, but gotta go with the snow bear one. Okay, so the story so far, just as a refresher here, Brungarr Mammoth-Ban was fighting a mammoth all the way up here at the coastline of the Sea of Ghosts. There's a frozen mammoth up here that's kind of preserved. And their combined might was too much for the earth and the mountains and the snow and the ice to handle, and so it caused a bit of an avalanche and buried both of them. As that kind of eroded away over the ages, the mammoth was exposed, and some of the mages over at the college decided to excavate it. So as they were melting all the ice and trying to get the mammoth out so they could study maybe the effects that all those thousands of years have had, and compare and contrast the old mammoth with the new ones. Once they got the mammoth out of there, they found Brungarr here, perfectly preserved behind the mammoth, kind of smooshed in with them. But the strength of Brungar's spirit proved mightier than that of the mammoth, because once they thawed him out, he was actually alive. Sort of an Encino Man type thing there, huh? Full disclosure, I did actually watch Encino Man trying to get inspired for this playthrough. And it's an awful, goofy movie, but it is still fun to watch. Pauly Shore at his finest. I thought I would never, ever say that phrase in my life, but there it is. Recorded in the cloud forever, to my shame. So the relationship between the mages at the college and Brungarr became a very mutually beneficial, symbiotic kind of relationship. Because Brungarr didn't even know the language. His Atmoran tongue far predates the Empire itself, and sort of the propagation of that language to all of Tamriel. In fact, many races are different now as well. Some of the elves have changed. There are no more Orsimer. They've become orcs. There are no more Chimer. They have become... what do you call these guys? Dunmer. There are no more dwarves. Nobody has figured out exactly what has happened with them. And there are no more Falmer. At least that he is aware of so far. So the entire world has changed in a blink of an eye for him. And the mages have actually helped facilitate his transition back to this time and this world. Taught him the language, taught him to be literate, much in the way that, oh geez, Idastag was for Couch Warrior. Illiterate, only used the runes and stuff, but Brungarr is a smart fella. He learned quickly. He's probably got a heavy accent now, which I'm still working on for my end of challenge vignette, I suppose. I gotta figure out what that sounds like. It'll probably be heavily inspired by other Nordic voices in the area. Wow, this is a mess. I just won't try to copy Korst because that's going to be a little ridiculous. Looks like maybe a lightning strike or something. Poor Camilla. Or Carlotta. I mean, Camilla's the one in Riverwood. And then it was mutually beneficial, the relationship between Brungarr and the college, because he is able to accompany them to ancient Nordic ruins and kind of tell them the real story, the first-hand story of what was going on down there. Do I have Winter Sun in there as well? Yes, I do. I am, so far, a devotee of Shore. And the plan was to unlock the old gods once I get to that point in the Mages Guild questline. But this shield thing here is really interesting. It's a pretty high level character that comes to assist you, and it helps a lot. And it's sort of like a spiritual, ethereal character, which I think goes really well with the whole shaman, communing with the spirits type of stuff here. Ghostly Rash of Brooklyn, hello. Welcome aboard, friend. We're just going over our Atmoran living relic here. Triumvirate Shaman. So yeah, that's kind of the basic story there. He has become fast friends with the college, so with that, I will be doing the College of Winterhold questline as sort of like a main priority. I'm also going to always have a college mage with me in terms of a follower, because he's going to need sort of a guide to help ease his transition from his world, his knowledge of Skyrim before it was even called Skyrim, into the current world that we're living in now. And they help facilitate that. They kind of keep him out of trouble, let him keep him adhering to the laws that he may not know about, and certain customs and stuff that might cause friction. I also toyed with the idea of making him one of the original companions that came back to fight off the elves. And I think that is still canon in this guy's playthrough. Still trying to figure out the little nuances of that, though. I've been toying with the idea of when the Atmorans first came to what is now known as Tamriel, they were actually welcomed with open arms by the local elves, sort of like a Pilgrims and Native American situation. And what I'm thinking is they learned a lot from some of the different races of elves here. So, like from the Falmer, the snow elves, they learned ways to survive the snowy climate and the snowy terrain. From the dwarves, they learned underground architecture so that they could build vast cities underground as the dwarves did, as we see with Sarthal and some of the other Nordic ruins strewn about the land. But I think Sarthal, which is probably the biggest Nordic ruin, the biggest ancient Nordic city, I think as they were expanding that city downward, they uncovered this powerful artifact. They didn't know exactly what it was, but they could tell that it was really powerful. And that kind of set some of the elves in the area on edge. Many of them became sort of fixated on obtaining this item, almost as if they were possessed by it. Or at least the promise of power that it gave them. And the rest of them were afraid of what could happen once these power-hungry elves got hold of it. So I like to imagine that these power-hungry elves sort of caught the Nords off guard. They tore through Sarthal, slaughtering everybody in there. And then the companions, the original 500 companions, came back to wage war on those elves. But I think that they were also joined by a large contingent of elves that did not want these other elves to gain access to this artifact. So, in terms of history, I think history may have had it a little wrong, and I don't really believe this, but just for this playthrough, I'm doing some roleplay magic, aka make shit up. That the whole elves versus Nords thing was not a straight up elves versus Nord thing. They were actually quite happy living amongst each other. They had a free exchange of culture, knowledge. They helped each other out in many ways. So Brungarr here he has no prejudice towards elves, but he may cast a suspicious eye toward elves that seem a little too power hungry, if that all makes sense. So that's kind of the long-winded backstory of this character. Hello, Obsolete. I almost said Absolute Enigma. Obsolete Enigma. Welcome back, friend. Good to see you. And yes, Happy New Year to you too, Ghostly Rash, and everybody else. So what am I doing now? Well, I would like to progress the Mage's Guild, the College, not Mage's Guild, but the College of Winterhold questline. But I am running the Not So Fast mod on the College of Winterhold, just because that thing is way too short. To kind of just fly through on its own. So the Not So Fast mod is something that I have on pretty much every playthrough that that I'm going to run the College of Winterhold questline under. So I think I'm still... I don't know how many days I have to wait until this next thing kicks off here, but we're waiting for Tolfdir to do his research and stuff, now that we have the book for him and everything. I think that's where we are anyway. So yeah, in the time being, just kind of running around, checking off, map markers and things to do, and just trying to get familiar with the character, his build, and his playstyle and stuff like that. So it should be fun. At some point, I also want to get Berlina decked out in some custom gear too, but I honestly don't know how much longer we'll be using her with us, because I think we do have Onmund available, And we may also have Jazargo ready to go too. In fact, it doesn't look like I need to blow myself up any more than I already have. So it looks like Jazargo is available too. So when we get back to the college, we'll need to address that as well. Absolute enigma. Yeah, a little too egotistical there, huh? Good, I'm glad you're doing well. I am doing well too. I really needed a weekend. This was kind of a long, stressful week. It was nice to be able to sleep in a little bit and, you know, hang out and play some Skyrim with you guys. Okay, so what's next? We are probably hungry, tired, and thirsty, so let's get some rest here, figure out what we're going to do next. I did want to talk about the Triumvirate Shaman build a little bit as well, because I know that that's something that PC Outcast actually struggled with, kind of coming up with a build that was strong and viable. So I do want to spend some time talking about that too. That might be a little better to talk about when I have an actual combat scenario to kind of talk through it. It seems like the most pressing thing that we have going on right now is rescuing Idoloff from Morvenskir here. I am doing the Companion's quest line as well. He's a little less concerned with that one, just because once he joined the Companions, thinking that they were like more of a progression of the lineage of the actual 500 Companions that he was part of. He was kind of let down a little bit that they have strayed so far from the path and become so different that pretty much the only thing that's the same anymore is the name. He doesn't really have anything against the Companions. He was just a little let down that there wasn't really much of a lineage between them and the ones that he knew. Okay, so let's take care of our biological needs here. Not all of them, because one I need doesn't... Wow. The lightning is really out of control here. It's just making a mess of everything. Crazy weather we're having, eh, Danica? So yeah, I am doing the Companion's quest line. It's not a priority for him. Not a huge priority anyway.
Hope you're willing to back those words up with your fists.
Okay, let's get a room.
If it's work you need, how about chopping up some wood for the fire?
Oh, we could get a bounty too.
Here, take a look at this. Some of the yard's men came by and left this bounty.
Starting up Oblivion with a cup of coffee. Nice. I keep toying with the idea of going back to Oblivion.
Just let me know.
But going back to like Fallout New Vegas after playing Fallout 4, I did try to go back to Oblivion unmodded after playing Skyrim modded for thousands of hours. She didn't give me the or did I just mess that up because I was distracted and talking?
Sure thing. It's yours for a day. Yes?
I know.
I understand.
Okay, thanks. And now I don't remember. Oh yeah, Oblivion. Oblivion, when I was playing it when it was new, was one of, if not my favorite game ever. But yeah, going back to an unmodded Oblivion after a modded Skyrim was rough, man. Same feeling I had going back to Fallout New Vegas after Fallout 4 and Skyrim. Fallout 3 I loved a lot. I haven't gone back to it to see just how... Oh geez, it's still really early. I guess I'm not that tired, just hungry. To see just how bad Fallout 3 is compared to Fallout 4. And not in terms of like story and writing and stuff. The story, the writing, a lot of the gameplay mechanics also, I think, is far superior to that of the newer games. I loved the expanded attributes system of Oblivion. It's just the gameplay itself, you know, choppy frame rates, things that you take for granted, like being able to sheath your bow to unknock your arrow. Once you kind of draw your bow in Oblivion, you're committed to firing that arrow. Things like that. Oh yeah, I know the animation replacers on my. Wait a minute, am I using? Are people actually kicking each other in the face? I don't remember having the martial arts animations. I'll have to look back at the video. I didn't mean to put those in this profile. One too many bottles of mead, huh? Modded Oblivion with better cities. And oh was awesome. It's just so much better. All I really need for my Oblivion, plus some custom armor. Yeah, what's oh? I've never really gotten into modding Oblivion. My modding experience starts with Skyrim. I know there's one where you can kind of suppress the whole Oblivion Gate crisis, which seemed really cool. So then you could just live in Cyrodiil without all those Oblivion Gates all over. Obscura's Oblivion over. Okay. So does that is that like a major overhaul? Does that touch like everything? I mean, it is a bar, so people kicking each other kind of just works. Yeah. I think like Haggis said, or no, Haster said, sorry, too many H names for me, being two. Too many bottles of mead. Okay, so let's eat. Go for the Horker loaf for sure. Garlic carrots sound delicious. That's probably light. No. Some cheese. Because I love cheese on everything. Okay. And some of the off-brand mead there, for sure. Okay, so it's 4:18 p.m. I feel like we can make it to Morvenskir and save Idleoff over here before we turn in for the night. And you know, being captured by bandits and everything is kind of a dangerous situation. So let's see what we can do to save his bacon there. And maybe I can talk through how I set up the shaman stuff a little bit. So the shaman spells sort of are split into... let's sell off some encumbrance here while we're at it.
I don't claim to
They split off into 3 or 4 different categories. Oof. Alright.
Man Steel is legendary. All I ask
so you have your totems, which are conjuration. There are a cheese for everyone. Yeah, Sheogorath.
the finest weapon.
Pastor over here invoking the mad god. Don't need the arrows. So yeah, one of them is the totems, which is conjuration. Conjuration is also shared with the Filja, or Filia. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. It looks like we weren't doing too bad. At some point here I need to tan all these into leather and turn them into gauntlets or something to help my smith skill. Okay, I'm gonna try to stay focused on the Triumvirate stuff. I get sidetracked too easily. So you got your totems, which are stationary conjured constructs. For the most part, they act exactly like an Atronach, except they don't move. They attract attention. Enemies will try to kill them. The totems, the ones that I have unlocked anyway, one of them does poison damage over time, and one of them does healing over time for allies. They both are pretty effective, I think. They might be a little bit slow in the magnitude of the things that they affect, but as with anything that affects a wide area of either enemies or allies, it becomes more effective the more characters it affects. So that kind of says that totems are to be used in sort of larger, more pitched battle situations. You can also use it as a sort of a stationary meat shield that won't run off. You can use it to distract your enemies, which is good. Let me catch up on chat here. Okay, so the next category in Conjuration is the Filia, or Filja. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, please let me know, because I don't want to say it incorrectly.
Climb and back, and we'll be off.
And that is a mobile conjured construct, but it's more unique in the way that you take direct control over it. You can't attack with it, although it does attack automatically on its own. It has like 2 different attacks based on the Filja that you have conjured. I think there's a wind Filja and there's like an ice Filja or something like that. You take direct control over it. It controls like you would control riding a horse. So there's that. So you can use that, run around a corner, do whatever you want. In my experience, it works best as sort of a scout. It doesn't have a ton.
That's close enough. Never shook it off.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, jeez. Okay, I was not prepared for battle at all. Alright, I'm just gonna have to axe these fools. Or die. That's cool, too. Okay, before I enter battle here, let me finish up my my overhaul, or my overview of Triumvirate here. So yeah, the Filias. You take direct control over them. You control them like you would a horse. They attack automatically. Best used for scouting. They don't have a ton of health points. They do have more than you would expect, though. They tend to work pretty well at legendary difficulty. Filia. Okay. I feel ya. I feel ya, bruh. Magus, thank you for the count there, friend. Appreciate it. However, in terms of like pitched battle and stuff, where you have maybe friends distracting the enemies on the battlefield, they can add sort of like a support damage and effects to the battlefield. So it's useful. It's also novel. I like anything that adds some kind of novel gameplay to the game at this point, and Anai is really good at doing that with all of his mods, really.
Climb and back, and we'll be off.
So yeah, you have the Filias. So that is either 1 or 2 different categories, depending on if you want to split it up into how you use it. Then they're pretty much 2 different things, the Totems and the Filias. Or if you just want to say they're all Conjuration, that would be category. I'm cool with either. The Filias and the Totems both adhere to the limits of how many conjured minions you can have at any one point. So it is very useful to take the Conjuration Tree to 100 and get the March of Oblivion perk here that allows you to have multiple minions based on how much Magicka you have, the size of your Magicka tank anyway. At the moment, Brungarr can only conjure either one Filia or one Totem, or have his Shore's Blessing, which is the shield thing. They all count as conjured minions, so you can only have one of any one of those at one time. So moving on to the next one is the... so we have the Water Totem, which does the healing over time. We have the Tree Totem, which does the poison over time. We have the Summon Wind Filia at this level. This is the highest level guy that I got here. So it does cost 54 Magicka to cast, and then it costs 5 Magicka per second. As long as you have the Magicka in the tank to run this guy, he will stay active for 558 seconds, which scales with Conjuration skill level there. Let's see, what else? We have alteration skills here, and I think this is mainly the stave spells. Let's see, we might have something else. The Eye of the Allmaker is kind of another scouting one of questionable usefulness. This one just puts you right up top. You can see over walls and stuff like that. You can't look left or right, but you can look up and down. The left-right thing might be a bug that Anai has already fixed. I don't know. I haven't updated this in a while. But this could help sort of scout ahead or over a wall or over a mountain or something to help plan what to do next. So sort of plan your tactics of a battle. The other part of... I don't see any more. Yeah, so it seems like the alteration category is pretty much dedicated to these stave spells. And what these do is enchant your power attacks. The Stave of Ferocity empowers your power attacks with an enchantment that reduces armor and magic resist, which is very powerful. I believe this works with the poison totem, the tree totem, as well. It also works with things like any kind of magical attacks that you'll do, any kind of magical attacks that your followers will do. So this automatically makes Berlina more powerful. It makes any attacks that I do against an enemy powerful, yada yada yada. So that's great. This suggests... well, I'll go over the build considerations after I do the overview of the spells. How about that? There's another stave spell, which I have not gotten yet. There's a higher level one, and I can't remember off the top of my head what that is, but we'll go over that when we get it. But it works the same way. It enchants your power attacks. Okay, so the third main category, or fourth, depending on how you look at it, are the restoration spells, and these are your sort of ranged mage attack spells. Right now, we have Spirit Fire, which kind of creates a pyre of harmful spirit energy. It drains stamina and magicka over time, as long as you can get the enemy to stay in this pyre. And once their stamina and magicka are depleted, it will start taking down their health over time. Obviously, more helpful if you can get the enemy to stay in place, which can be a pain until you get like a paralysis spell, or you can get them to be engaged with a follower or a totem or something like that. There's a higher level spell that is an offensive attack spell that's called Spirit Storm. It's very powerful. It has the same effect, but it is fired out in sort of like a slow-moving cloud. that you can aim instead of just putting it on the ground as a stationary mine, sort of. It's a slow-moving cloud, so it does take a while for it to get to a distant enemy. But once it does, it really tears through all of your opponent's attributes. Yeah, Tharn's Prison, which is the it manifests that cage that keeps the enemy in place. That's a good call, Magus. Okay, so that's a rundown of all the spells in the Shaman tree of Triumvirate. So to me, this suggests, so the totem spells suggest that we use allies, because the more allies that we have, the more useful our tree totem will be, or I'm sorry, our water totem will be for healing everybody, including ourselves. A little bit of healing over time for a wide audience goes a lot longer, goes a lot farther than, you know, just a little bit of healing over time applied to one person. So that's point one for using followers. The poison totem is more effective against groups of enemies. That's a nice tool for them. If you can get all of your enemies to attack a tree totem that take damage over time while you wail on them, that's awesome. So already this kind of suggests a support role in more pitched battles between, you know, you got a team, they got a team, let's do this type thing. He's probably more of a backline type guy. But then we have the interesting situation presented by these stave spells, which empower your power attacks. So that kind of suggests that you perk into your power attacks, because the more you're able to use power attacks, the more useful these things will become. But the nature, at least, of Stave of Ferocity is that the armor level and the magic resist is depleted every time you whack them with a power attack. Which helps both the tree totem, the poison over time effect, and any kind of magical or physical based allies that you have with that. So that's point two for having allies and being more of a support guy, even though you're going to be on the front lines to use this. You can kind of use maneuverability once you're in the front line to maneuver the battlefield and make sure that other people are tanking instead of you. So then we have the restoration stuff. Spirit Fire works better if you don't have a paralysis or immobility option, such as, you know, an Ash Rune or paralysis, or what Magus mentioned, the Tharn's Prison thing. Spirit Fire works better if your enemy is already engaged with one of your allies or your tree totems, or any one of your totems, really. That will keep them immobile. The pyre itself is a pretty wide area. It's not huge, but it still will affect the enemy in sort of a small radius. So they can dance around the battlefield just a little bit and still be affected by that spell. So that is another point for support, for a support type character with allies. And then the Spirit Storm, which is the slow moving projectile, is kind of the same way. It does take a while for it to get to where you're aiming, but it also stays in the air like a cloud for a long time. So the more enemies that you can affect with that at once, the better. The more effective use of your magica pools you will get out of that. So the way I've been playing this is I will, when I enter combat, I will cast a spirit. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. I will cast a totem, be it tree, a totem for poison. I'm using the tree totem for poison right now, or a water totem for healing right away. And then I will cast the Spirit Fire spell on wherever my enemy is. And then I can usually get another one off before my Magicka pool runs out to adjust with where the enemies end up. Once I'm out of my Magicka, I switch over to my Battle Axe here. And I have the... Oh, I missed one. Is that a restoration spell? Visions of Healing. This is another one that I forgot to mention. This one I put in the same category as the Stave spell. Because it's more of an Okado's recital type thing. So yes, I do have Stave of Ferocity hooked up to Okado's recital so that my power attacks automatically get enchanted. And then I also hook up Visions of Healing and Visions of Opportunity. These are the two that I missed here. So Visions of Healing... it's probably poorly named. Well, maybe not so much. So it randomly picks a random foe within 40 feet, and you absorb 113 health from them. So that helps your upfront tankiness if you do get targeted by an enemy. Visions of Opportunity. It's just a straight up curse. It does the same thing that Spirit Fire does. So right off the bat, before I even go into melee mode here, I am either buffing myself or severely debuffing the enemies, and sometimes both. So that makes it so that when, you know, a jack of all trades usually isn't as powerful as min-maxing a more concentrated build. But in this case, I think these spells are designed so that a more a battle mage type or paladin type anyway, in this case anyway, is more effective. So this is the best that I could come up with. This, I think, is what Anai was hinting at. A lot of these Triumvirate archetypes here, the way that the spells are laid out and designed, I think Anai is heavily hinting at the way that he wants you to play these mage archetypes. And this is my best guess as to how he wants us to play the shaman. And we'll see. I've had success with it. I've been playing on Legendary from the get-go, from level 1. I have made it all the way to level 26. I briefly had the Argonian from Interesting NPCs with me. He didn't last too long. I really wanted from the beginning to develop this character using only one follower. And it's been viable. It's been challenging, but I think it will get easier as I learn to use it more effectively. Oh, there are those bandits that killed us last time. Let's take care of them, huh? Quick save. Oh no, those are Stormcloaks. Immersive patrols. Okay, we're good. So let's test out this this build, so to speak, on Morvensker here. And just to show that I am in, oops, Legendary difficulty, always. Oh, one thing I want to do is, with my Monk playthrough, I had to nerf output, damage output. I want to make sure that didn't leak over into this one, because I definitely am not overpowered with this build. Okay, we're good. Yeah, 0.5 damage dealt. With the Jagasta profile, I had to change that to 0.25. Okay, so let's see how this works, and I'm going to check up on chat here. Well, okay, cheese for everyone. As a fan of TES, I love Sheogorath. I love the Shivering Isles, but I always have trouble coming up with a reason for any of my Oblivion characters to actually go to the Mad God's Realm and help. Yeah, that's actually the same problem I have with the Nuka World DLC for Fallout 4. I don't know how many cross fans we have. I'm sure that there are plenty of cross fans between the Elder Scrolls and Fallout 4. Yeah, that's the exact same problem I had. The Nuka World DLC is great. It's expansive. It adds a lot of really cool stuff and a lot of stuff that was missing in terms of roleplay. But very few of the characters that I actually play or want to play have any like reason to go. They probably would not. They would go maybe, but they wouldn't help out with that. You know, it kind of takes a bandit type bad guy character to do that. What else we got over here? Haster says, well, we know for a fact that Champion of Cyrodiil is Sheogorath's current incarnation. Do we, though? I think that was a prevailing theory for a while. There's a lot of evidence that goes toward it. I don't think that that's canon. For sure. Like, officially canon. Obsolete says, plus, I don't necessarily like the climax of the DLC and the effect it has on our characters. I don't know, as cool as the DLC is, I rarely ever do it on an Oblivion roleplay because my characters aren't dumb. Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. The first time you go through DLCs and game content and everything, it's fun to do roleplay, but it's also kind of, you want to do a loose play, right? Because you want to actually experience all the game has to offer. And you can do that through subsequent playthroughs and stuff like that, but it kind of makes it difficult to do a strict roleplay that early on with your experience in the game. And then we got the Philia pronunciation. Obsolete Enigma says, well, it's debated. Both. Oh, okay. I think that was on the Sheogorath's incarnation, though. It's confirmed, actually. There's a line where Sheo is talking about the Oblivion Crisis, and he says, I was there. He was because of the cheese situation, right? Sheogorath had, as all the Daedric princes do, they have a quest line in Oblivion. Plus, being an immortal being, of course he would have been around to witness the Oblivion Crisis, right? I don't think that that's absolute proof that Sheogorath is the champion of Cyrodiil. Morvensker should be a challenge. I was under the impression Sheo is your ES4 character as well. Okay, so Magus had the same impression. I don't know, is that official? Did BGS actually come out and say that? The whole "I was there" thing might be evidence, but I don't see it as proof. Just like with Urag in the Mage's College, there is
Fire frost.
there's evidence that he is a powerful immortal being, right? But it's just evidence. It heavily relies on major assumptions. And what he actually meant when he said certain things. To be able to prove that that is the case, right? And until BGS comes out and says, yeah, the champion of Cyrodiil is an incarnation of Sheogorath, I just don't think there's enough evidence. Plus the fact that the relics of the Crusader were lost at the beginning of the 4th era. So yeah, not using stealth at all. It's getting dark. And as you can see, it didn't have too much problem with these mages. These are all pretty low-level mages so far. All novice different types of mages, but as you can see, the Totem did a good job, and Berlina's Atronach did a good job of distracting the enemies so that we didn't take too much damage. We took some peppering of, I don't know, probably gravel or something like that. But we were able to maneuver away from that and get in and land some power attacks. Although the power attacks seem to be less demonstrative of their actual power against an unarmored enemy with life, the power attack just seems to kill them outright. I will be doing enchanting with this character, but I'm kind of waiting for it to get higher levels so that I can do more interesting things with it. I also need to get settled on a weapon for this guy too. My favorite axes are the somewhat realistic Viking weapon axes. I think those are the ones that Couch Warrior uses for Robard. Very high quality, much more realistic than the sort of LARPy fantasy trope axes that we get in the game and other mods. But I don't know how well it actually fits this character. I'm using an ancient Nord battle axe right now, which fits with the character, and I think that there is a honed one later on. And with immersive weapons, there's also a double-sided one, which could work pretty well with this character. And there's also some pretty brutal looking stuff in other mods that I will look into as well. But I haven't landed on one like I have with his armor yet. Okay, so refresh my memory. How do the relics of the Crusader fit in with Sheogorath? Are they Sheogorath relics? I didn't think they were. Let's grab some food. I think we're good for a while, but just in case. Yeah, like I was saying, it's been a long time since I've played Oblivion, so there's a lot of stuff that I just don't remember. Still looting for money at this stage in the game. Need a lot of money for training. And one challenge with a build that's this wide in terms of breadth of different skills, I'm using two-handed, I'm using light armor, I'm using block, I'm using alteration, restoration, and conjuration. That's a lot of different skills to spread your perk points into. So the way I end up keeping all these balanced is through training, and in order to do training, I need money. So you're going to be seeing me loot a lot of things. Smithing is always useful. I don't know how far I'm going to take the smithing stuff. It's not really essential for this character, especially if you can find the gear that you want to create. The Colovian stuff in this case is base level gear that you can create at level 0 smithing, really. The helmet is a little harder to find, but they do become more common later on. That one's locked. And of course the battle axe here. I don't think it's craftable vanilla, but it's very easily found in Nordic ruins of any kind. At any point in the game. The relics of the Crusader were gifts from the Divine given to Pellinal Whitestrake. After his death, the relics were kept by the Elysians, but then were lost. In the Third Era, Sir Emil Lannis and his Knights of the Nine went on a campaign to relive. Okay, so what does that have to do with Shiogora? Sorry, not trying to be belligerent about it or anything. I'm really trying to educate myself here. And you seem to know what you're talking about. But for various reasons, the relics were again lost after that event until the 4th era when the champion of Cyrodiil managed to recover. Okay. I am picking up what you're laying down so far.
I don't like where this
Okay.
is going.
I'm gonna have to stop looking at chat for a moment because this is a very rough area here. The tree totem I'm going to save because I want Shore's shield thane to proc here on us. So quick save here. Let's get into it. No totems. Shield thane is not procced. I don't know what's going on. Wow, okay. Oh, because there's no mighty enemy. It has to be a high level. It has to be like a dragon or a mammoth or a giant or something like that. None of these qualify as mighty enemies, apparently. Okay, so let's find some cover here. Let's get these guys to engage with the totem. Save Magicka for... Okay, they're ignoring the totem. That does happen every once in a while. Oh boy. Okay, there is an arch electromancer up there somewhere. Or an archmage of some point. Or high level mage. It's just killing us with that. With that lightning spell. And then the second Divine Crusader in 4th Era 01 entered the portal to the Shivering Isles and the relics again went lost. So just the act of him entering the Shivering Isles made the relics go away? So wait a minute. 4th Era 433... The champion of Cyrodiil. Do you mean the 3rd era 433? And then the 4th era 01? That would make more sense, I think. Okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Let's get in on this powerful guy here. He's the one killing us. Let's see if we can get him to engage with the totem there. How my power attack? How is this missing? It's right there. I just killed my own totem. Maybe not. Okay. Well, at least I have a blueprint now. Okay, gotcha. So, alright, the 4th era 01. Did that actually take place? So the act of entering the Shivering Isles made the relics leave. Did that take place during the Oblivion game itself, or where is that official canon? Because I don't remember hearing about that in Skyrim, which would be the 4th era game, right?
Did you hear something?
Ignoring my totem. And this is I think a problem that PC Outcast had with the Shaman build. He did take some. He had a different interpretation of his Shaman build than I do. At least slightly, anyway. I think he tried to do everything as a solo instead of having followers. And he had different ideas on how to use these things, and I probably wasn't thinking about synergy in the same way I was with different spells and things like that. But people not attacking his totem was definitely a big problem that he had. Well, it depends on when you chose to go to Shivering Isles, because if you go early, it's still 3rd area, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay. So, in Oblivion, the act of entering the Shivering Isles... So, wait a minute. Okay, so the Crusader armor was added by DLC that was separate from the Shivering Isles, though, wasn't it? In-game, if you enter the Shivering Isles, it forces you to lose your Crusader armor that you've already found.
What was that? Over here!
Oh boy, this is real tough. Yes, so Knights of the Nine. That almost sounds more like a bug to me than any kind of canon story beat, to be honest. Alright, we almost had him before. I think the trick here is really just to get him to engage with our totem. Okay, there we go. Novice to apprentice now, so they're getting a little bit higher level. Okay, so when things work properly and the enemies behave the way you expect them to behave, this can be quite effective. Yeah, Electromancer, which is a pretty high level enemy for me. We had this Chain Lightning spell, which was tough. But in the end of the Shivering Isles DLC, we learned that it was a trap by Sheogorath in order to mantle him and take his place. Mantling is the procedure of being, in this case, a mortal to become a divine or Daedra, and slowly but surely take their place in the mythic. Okay, but by mantling, that doesn't necessarily mean that Sheogorath is taking him over or possessing him, right? And I know there were mods, I think, in Skyrim that were not official or canon that did take this. That looks odd, huh? That did take this approach to the lore. So, just because Sheogorath turns the champion of Cyrodiil into an immortal, or a god, doesn't necessarily mean that he becomes Sheogorath, right? It's been 200 years since then, so the mantling is complete. The second Divine Crusader, the champion of Cyrodiil, is Sheogorath. Mantling is the procedure of a being, in this case a mortal, to become a divine or a Daedra, and slowly but surely take their place in the mythic. Okay. Well, that does sound pretty convincing. Now, what is the mythic? Because if the mythic is sort of the Daedric pantheon, then yeah, I would agree with you. If the mythic is, you know, the champion of Cyrodiil just becoming a god, but not Sheogorath, then I think there's still some stuff to be debated there. I really need to go back and replay that. It was an excellent DLC. And it sounds like I'm forgetting a lot of the story beats there. But Hoster is our... Oh, shite. Is our resident lore expert here, so... I'm inclined to believe him. Oh, that's Berlina. Okay. So yeah, this combination of buffing allies and debuffing enemies is quite potent. It can work really well. And in order to further that, I've actually taken the restoration perks here, Descending Light. And I will probably be taking Warrior's Flame as well to sort of go with this whole theme of buffing and debuffing before entering battle. I'm also using the lockpick overhaul. I try to do that with every character that is not going to use picking any of the Ordinator lockpicking perks. Out of the way, Berlina. There we go. There we go. So yeah, I think that this shaman archetype here is really quite reliant on allies, which does say something to the strength, at least the individual strength of this archetype. That I will admit, but I would say that having allies as a shaman is part of the design. Looking at the different strengths and weaknesses of these different spells. I think this is kind of what Anai was going for.
Let's move.
And role-playing wise, shaman could be fun. You know, as sort of like a spiritual consultant for like the Imperial Army trying to take on the Stormcloaks. Or it could be a, what do they call the Nordic men, or the Nordic mages? The Wise Men, or something like that. I think that works well as like a Stormcloak mage. If you want to play a mage that is a Stormcloak, I think this is absolutely perfect for you. So that stuff works well. Even things like, I think it works well with like the Dawnguard faction as well. Mythic is a collective term referring to the spirits of creation divines. El-Nafi, Daedra, you name it. Okay. But does that specifically turn him into Sheogorath, though? That's my point of contention. That's the only thing that's holding me up right now. Does the mantling turn him into Sheogorath, or just, you know, a divine? Clever men, clever women. Yeah, okay, so not the wise. It was the clever one. That's what I'm thinking of. I think that would be a cool thing to play, and that's kind of basically what I'm doing here. Is just he just doesn't have any affiliation with the Stormcloaks, at least yet. Anyway, he might at some point. I think though that the alternate history that I've written for this character, he's probably pretty inclusive of elves, as long as they're not terrible elves. Stormcloaks seem to be a little less inclusive of elves, at least in terms of what's going on within the walls of Windhelm itself. Though they are also more directly opposing Thalmor, which I think Brungarr here would definitely be against. He would be extremely wary of Thalmor and their intentions, probably more so once we get through the Mage's Guild quest and things that happen with the Thalmor and that. All right, Idleoff, there you are. Let's head back down to Whiterun, see what kind of trouble we can get into. On the way. Depends on who wants to be replaced. For example, we know that Talos is supposed to be at least 3 different people. Hjalti Earlybeard, Nord Talos of Atmora, yeah. And Tiber Septim, right? But I also think that is debatable as well. Those could all be the same person, right? At least Hjalti Earlybeard and Talos could be the same guy. I have not heard about the Zoran Arctis one. I thought that Tiber Septim was renamed to Talos once he ascended. And that Tiber Septim was an imperialized renaming of Hjalti Earlybeard, which was his name during the wars and his fights with the Forsworn and things like that. The Zoran Arctis stuff I don't know anything about. But do entities in the Mythic, do they need to be replaced, or can they be added to? Because at some point Talos was added to. He wasn't there from the beginning, right? He ascended. He didn't replace anybody. Much like how Trinimac would have been removed. Trinimac wasn't replaced. Well, I guess he kind of was replaced by Boethia. Or not Boethia, but Malakath by Boethia. So I guess that's a point for replacement. But Talos was definitely added to. They can be added by divine intervention. Sure. So is there an argument to be made that the mantling is just addition by divine intervention? It is definitely divine intervention if Sheogorath. Okay, so Brungarr, being a shaman or shaman, has a strong connection with the spirit world, which is probably why he can see this child. So he would definitely be interested in communing with this ghost. Who are you, spirit?
Hello? Can you see me? Where's Mother? Why is she not here? Why am I here? Why?
Do you realize that you are dead, boy?
What? Am I dead? Yes, I died. I am dead. Oh no. Will I ever get to see my mother again? What should I do?
I don't know. What would you like to do?
I want to go home to my mother. That is my wish. But if I'm dead, maybe a priest can help me.
Okay, yes, your mother will not help you, at this point. But a priest may. Where can I find one?
In my hometown, my mother is there too.
This is hard from a role-playing aspect, too, because the shaman would probably know how to put the spirit to rest, I would think. Yes, I will take your bones to the priest. I have some other business to attend to first. But I promise your spirit will be put to rest.
Carry me? Yes, carry me. Carry all of my bones. Bury me close to my
Actually,
mother so I
a
can see her again.
spirit of a small boy following a shaman around probably would make a lot of sense, don't you think? Okay, so I have to go all the way back to Helgard. Maik, how's it going, friend? So to continue the debate, I guess, Hastur, the mantling, does that technically, explicitly, canonically replace one of the gods that were around since creation? One of the Aedra/Daedra. Or is it just the process of one becoming one of those deities? And not necessarily replacing them. Because the Talos would be an example of one that was not replaced, but added. Is my argument now, I think. And I think if we can say definitively that the mantling is the process of replacing one of those divines, then I'll be on board. With the whole Sheogorath is the champion of Cyrodiil theory. You become the one you replaced. Okay. Alright. So I guess canonically, if you did decide to do the Shivering Isles in your playthrough, then you are Sheogorath, yeah? And I guess canonically and officially, they wouldn't add a major story DLC like that and not make it canon in the history of things, right? So I guess I'm on board. That's pretty interesting to think about. So when you commune with Sheogorath, in solitude, you're actually communing with the champion of Cyrodiil from Oblivion. Because he doesn't look any different. Would that just be his physical manifestation? Then would be the, it's meta. Difficult to explain. Which probably means it's also difficult to understand. And purposely made vague so that it's open to interpretation. You know, I recently watched a video explaining what the term meta means, and it's actually an acronym for most effective tactic available. But it's taken on a different meaning of sort of like a gamesmanship or hidden meaning. The meta of something. Something that's not like up and in your face, but something that's kind of buried in details. But originally it's a competitive gaming term meaning most effective tactic available. So if you're exercising the meta of a game, you're not playing the game because you like a character or because a certain playstyle is fun. You're looking for the most powerful thing you can do.
Please get me home.
So the meta of Skyrim would be Sneaky Archer. Ooh, Forgotten Magic. Electric Charge. I think I am focusing mainly on the Triumvirate Shaman spells with this. Just because I had noticed some people having trouble with how to build out a playstyle with these spells. So I'm kind of focusing on those, but if something pops up in Forgotten Magic or, you know, Arcanum I'm running as well, Mysticism that kind of goes with this whole concept. I was running Stoneflesh for a while. You good, Idoloff? There's some nav mesh issues on this particular bridge right here. A lot of the NPCs don't want to cross it one way or the other. But that's alright. I don't mind. He'll make his way there eventually anyway. Similar to how the Battle Mage in Battlespire defeated Dagon using his Prudnimic, original named Neonymic, new name, and a relic of his creation to banish him back to oblivion. Arcanum is still one I have to check out. Yeah, I like Arcanum a lot, but it goes really deep. I almost want to dedicate a playthrough or two to exploring the Arcanum stuff. It's really awesome. A lot of the spells are very unique, and most of them have a drawback to them, which keeps them from being overpowered, but also really focuses your use of them and how you build around them, which sounds really, really awesome. Hello, Mr. B. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. How are you this weekend? We are playing a Triumvirate Shaman / Barbarian type build here. He is a living relic from the Atmoran times. He was frozen alongside the Mammoth up near the Sea of Ghosts. Thawed out by some college mages and learning the ways of the world after thousands of years. So, okay, let's see. It's 10:21. We'll go talk with Vilcus. We'll get some rest. We'll sell off our junk, and we'll see what other trouble we can get into. It seems like people are really inspired for this Living Relic challenge now that the holidays have kind of settled and everything, and people are getting back into Skyrim a little bit. I saw Magus's Fox race character. Looks absolutely amazing, by the way. You did a great job on her. What was her name? Something like Rithasa or something like that? Mr. B is alive. Just working on my MBSO mod. Oh, awesome. You know, I work as a computer programmer, software engineer, at least 8 hours a day. Modding is something that I would definitely take on as a hobby. I mean, mod authoring.
Welcome. Let
If
me
I
know
if I
you want
didn't
anything.
do that kind of thing for a living all day, every day, you know. Rashira? Rishara. Yeah. That was close. I missed your stream last night, just because I was hanging out with the wife, watching some TV and stuff like that. Pizza Friday is a favorite of the Demorg household. Oh, Panic Monk. Welcome. Good to see you. I
What can I do for you?
got distracted by the chat and out of I've been classically conditioned to head to the Bannered Mare there. I should be going to Vilcus and sleeping at Jorvisker. Changed her name several times. She was originally Foxy. Foxy Lady. Yeah, I missed your stream last night, but I do have your archive in my watch later queue. I will get to that this weekend. I'm really interested to see what you got going on there. Oh, of course she did. Of course she wanted you to keep it.
Come to me with questions.
You both are a bad
I know
influence on each
obviously
other, I
almost
think.
as well as Vignar
Or
by
good
now,
influence,
except I can remember it.
depending on your perspective there.
What
You're the reason why, you guys are
some
the reason why
strange creature in your travels?
Jagasta is still titled to Moonpuss. Forever and ever. Yeah, and I check my subscription queue all the time. And whenever yours or the Wind's archives pop up, I do add them to my watch later queue, and I do watch them throughout the day or the weekend or the night or whatever if I can't sleep. If I can't watch a live stream of it anyway.
So I hear.
So even though I'm
From
not
all
there,
to
I'm
the
still watching,
companions
still
And
supporting.
yourself.
You just got to make time for family and everything at the same time. I do still like to catch the live streams when I can, though. It's just that, when it's convenient for people to stream, a lot of the times it's right when I'm eating dinner or watching a movie or something with the wife or anything like that. If it's during the workday, I can usually get away with it a little more. And I do like hanging out with you guys live whenever I can.
I'm still trying to figure out why
let's
Store
see.
let you in the first place.
Influences, yeah.
I was the newest companion until you came.
Always two things.
I guess that's okay. Just means I can show you ropes.
Okay, let's get some rest here. We'll sell off some of the loot that we accumulated at Morvensker. We'll sleep till, let's see, we have 10, basically 11. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 hours of sleep will put us right around 8 a.m. Run up to Dragon's Reach, disenchant all of the things that we can disenchant. I realize now that I forgot to loot the chest underneath the throne that the Electromancer was on. Oh well, I got the boss chest. That's the important one anyway, right? So what games has everybody been playing? I know we're a big Skyrim crowd here. I was playing a lot of Cyberpunk. I think I got 150 hours in like the first two and a half weeks that the game came out. But I've gotten a little burnt out on it right now. I'm looking for inspiration on a new character build for that, and I think I found it. But I wanna get through Assassin's Creed Odyssey first, get that cleared off of my backlog. But I've also been playing the new Tetris game that came out a I don't know, a month or two ago, maybe October, November of last year. Tetris Effect Connected it is, and it has a VR mode that's actually really cool. So it's all 3D and everything once you put the VR headset in, but it also does things like controller vibrations, and the music goes along with the moves that you're making with the pieces and everything, and it's a really kind of cool meditative experience, I would say. I've been having some fun with that as well. Ooh, let's do some enchanting here while we're at it as well. Not a whole lot to enchant. So it looks like the stamina damage is the most valuable one we can do, which will increase our enchantment one as much as possible.
It seems this damnable conflict has claimed everyone's
Physical conditions make it hard to get a job. I would like to make modding streaming something that I can make a little money at, but the pain really limits. Yeah. I know a lot of people in like Magus's channel and stuff suffer from that thing. I'm fortunate enough that I don't suffer from anything like that, but it sounds awful. And I would never discount something like that.
Wish to master the arcane art.
Sorry that you have to deal with that. I can't even begin to imagine, honestly, what dealing with chronic constant pain like that would be like. But yeah, if you can make a little money streaming, modding, and everything like that, if you figure out, I mean, you basically have to become a marketer or get really lucky with an infectious personality
Your mind is the
to get something to take off. Get something like that to take off. But it could happen. I mean, without like marketing and stuff like that. It seems like it's a really heavily a marketing gig than anything else at this point. Cyberpunk, need to play that more. I want to play Witcher 3 and Darkest Dungeons. And pick up my Enderall playthrough. Oh yeah, I caught some of your Enderall playthrough. That seemed like really fun, actually. I've never played Enderall. But watching other people play it, I love the overhauls that they've made to the systems and stuff like that. And I love exploring game systems, which is part of the reason why Skyrim, to this day, remains my favorite game, because of overhaul modders like Anision and others. Keep the gameplay and the mechanics fresh all the time. Let's go see if Yorland is available so we can sell off some stuff to him.
Wait.
Yeah, Enderall is great. I gotta... That still requires LE to be installed, right? It uses the LE game engine, or can you install it standalone now from Steam? Of course, it would have vanilla Skyrim graphics, which are kind of awful at this point.
Got a lot of steel to shape.
I wonder if there's a Wabbajack that you can do for Enderall. That would be nice. I much prefer playing Skyrim to modding it. I mod to enable myself more enjoyment of the game, but I don't mod for its own sake. I just can't. That's the one I need to get rid of there. All these hunting knives. Still need LE, and yeah, you got to download from Steam. Okay. There is a Wabbajack set for Enderall. Awesome. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for the info. Now that I know it exists, I can easily do the research on it. I probably easily could have asked Google about Enderall Wabbajack, but now that we're on the subject, why not? Has anybody used the Enderall Wabbajack at all? Because, you know, mod choice is something that's like super subjective, right? You get two people that are into modding and playing Skyrim, you're going to get two wildly, wildly different mod loadouts. Have I done your sword thing for you
Tried
yet?
mercenary work? It might suit you.
It looks like I already have.
Right then.
We do have a bounty that we can take on. Ooh, there's a giant. Kill the giant located at Secunda's Kiss. Oh, I think I'm also running the mod that that makes it so that you have more Radiant jobs to do before you progress that quest line as well. Secunda's Kiss. Maybe let's go take care of that giant once we get all our stuff sold off here. Yeah, I mean, Enderal is one of those things that's on my backlog too. My backlog is huge. I have like hundreds and hundreds of games in my Steam library.
All I ask is a fair chance.
I mean, of course, I've got them all on sale for dirt cheap, so it's not like I've spent like a fortune on these games or anything that I may not ever get to. A lot of them are arcade-style games that I can play if I have like friends over or something like that. Couch co-op type stuff once we're all allowed on the same couch together again, which I'm hoping is right around the corner.
Don't forget to check inside the shop if you need anything.
So with all these power attacks that the Triumvirate Shaman highly suggests that you do through the stave spells, stamina becomes a really big concern here. So the way I've been distributing my attribute points on level up is once I have enough magicka to kind of get a totem out there and spirit fire higher, maybe another spirit fire higher, then that's enough magicka until I get to the next spell that I have to cast manually that doesn't work through Okado's recital. Then I'll have to increase magicka, but other than that, I've been concentrating mainly on health and stamina. I really need to shore up stamina a little bit because my health levels are low for a melee fighter because I'm using meat shields and totems of various types to act as my defense for me more so than anything else. I am investing in the block tree here, especially things like quick reflexes and timed blocking that sort of make it so that your lower armor level is less of a concern if you can time everything correctly, but that becomes very difficult to manage in more pitched battles with lots of enemies. When you get swarmed, it's really hard to time a block correctly when you have more than one or two enemies that you're fighting at the same time. And that also takes stamina as well. Although less so if you get a timed block off. So yeah, I need to focus more on stamina, I believe, until that catches up and maybe even surpasses health, depending on how gameplay goes. I have a plan in mind for how this build is going to work out, which I've discussed with everybody, but earlier on in the video, and it took some time to do that. So I'm not going to go through it all again, but I'm also using the gameplay as kind of a test to see if my plan actually does work out, and I have to kind of tweak on the fly. I think we have till the end of January to completely flesh this stuff out before we show off where we ended up with our living relics. But I'm excited to play this. It's a lot of fun. A lot more fun than I had with the Ice Wraith. I might take another crack at that. The Ice Wraith, I made some gameplay decisions that I also used the console to kind of restrict some things that I could do. I had a 10,000 bounty in every single hold, so it made it kind of impossible to interact with NPCs and take on a lot of the different quests. So The Ice Wraith was really limited in what I could do. I was going around the map clearing all dungeons that I had access to, and I still was barely over level 30 at the end of that. And the whole gameplay just seemed kind of dry without NPC interaction. I would like to do that one again, and maybe take it from the very beginning. Of a stealthy assassin that becomes sort of this Izzy cryptozoological creature that's half man, half ice wraith. So that way I can flesh out the gameplay a little more while actually doing questing and stuff like that. And then at the end, when I'm actually all fleshed out with that stuff, then I can set bounties in all the areas. It's been several months, so it might have updated, but it was a lot of fun. I'd rather mod myself, but it's such a handy tool. Oh, you're talking about Wabbajack, yeah. I think Lexi's guide was removed from Wabbajack last I heard, just because it became too much to maintain along with the guide itself, which is kind of sad. It seems like a good mod, a good guide. A little more heavy-handed with the gameplay systems and stuff than I'd like, because I like to pick that stuff myself. But that was something that I was interested in doing back before I decided I wanted to spend my time playing Skyrim instead of modding it. I'm going to need more stamina and magicka than health to run away, and I get, yeah, for sure. Different playstyles and stuff. It's interesting. You almost always need a defensive option and an offensive option. And sometimes, the defensive option is using minions and followers as meat shields, and using stamina to run around and avoid your enemy attacks until they decide eventually to engage with your minions and stuff like that. Stealth might be your defensive option as well, and in that case you also need something to fall back on if you get detected, especially earlier levels. Once you get high enough level in stealth, it almost becomes difficult to become detected, or at least fully detected in a way where you're now in open combat. This is overkill for a wolf, but at least I'll get my restoration and conjuration skills up. And alteration as well for the stuff that's hooked up to Okados. We should level up here soon, and then I can reassess where I'm at with these skill levels and stuff, and where I need to invest my training in. I think I have still one level of training left, which I used in Conjuration, because even though I don't have any use for any of the perks until I get to March of Oblivion at level 100, pretty much everything between where I'm at now with Atromancy, everything between here and March of Oblivion is basically useless to me with the totems. But I still need to level up the skill. I still need to keep that on par with everything else, or at least in the same ballpark. So I have been training Conjuration as well. Speaking of defensive and offensive options, one of my favorite play types ever is an unarmored melee fighter. Anybody who has been around the channel long enough, my Alucel playthrough that I used with the Ghosts of Yore Unbound challenge from Character Crusade. Great job on that, by the way, Joe, if you're still out there and listening. One of my favorite characters of all time, and he was unarmored, one-handed Spellblade. type character. So he relied on quick timed blocking and dodges and maneuverability, along with flesh spells to increase his armor rating. And then he used some destruction spells for ranged options, but that was a major challenge, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to a rebirth of that character at some point, once I get through sort of some other character types and challenges and playthroughs that I want to do. Okay, he's not hostile yet, so he's not actually technically an enemy, so we have to trigger hostility with this guy. Yeah, power attacks and dodging. If I drain my stamina with a... Oh boy, there's a crash. I think I crashed last time I was trying to fight a dragon while I was streaming too. If I drain my stamina using power attacks, I'm very defenseless, because then I can't dodge out of the way, especially with something like a giant or a mammoth that can take you out in 1 or 2 hits. Oh yeah. That was one of my very earliest attempts at YouTube videos, Magus, so don't judge me too harshly on that stuff. I was still learning things heavily. And that was all just raw video recording of live playthrough without any kind of editing or anything whatsoever. That's kind of why I want to revisit it. I kind of want to make a proper series out of it at some point, with maybe some vignettes and voice acting and scenes set up like the Chemical Whispers series that I am very proud of. Especially with that whole Ghosts of Yore story that was behind it was excellent stuff. Definitely going to revisit that at some point, I think. Hopefully I don't have a crash loop here, but if I have to back up to a previous save, that will be okay. All right, we're back in business here. All right, you gigantic buttwad. Boom, shakalaka. Okay, giants at legendary difficulty, no problem. Unless they crash your game, then there's a problem. So yeah, another consideration with a build like this, going back to this being a very wide build concept with a lot of different skills that you have to invest perks into. Things that increase your perks even ever so slightly can help. So I'm running the Sky Shards mod, which you saw me find at Brungarr. There was a Sky Shard there. Once I find 3 of those, I get a perk point. I'm also running Dirty Weasel's Ordinator flavored config for the Uncapper. And that gives you another perk every 5 or 10 levels or so. So that helps out a lot too. I mean, you can do it if you're really, really being careful about what perks you choose, but yeah, in a breadthy build like this one, it helps to have a little more perks. Now, there's going to be a point where I max out, well, not max out, because the Uncapper actually lifts the 100 level skill cap on a lot of these skills. There's going to be a point where I'm going to have more perks than I know what to do with, or even more perks than what is good for me to run on Skyrim, because you end up with Oh, geez, I really overshot, didn't I? You're going to end up with more active effects than the game can really handle, and the Skyrim engine will start either crashing your game or just dropping your active effects. So probably end up with way more perks than I know what to do with, but at least when you're in the midst of a playthrough like this and you're building out your character with your perk trees and everything like that, it makes a wide breadthy build like this viable earlier on. Just a hint. Let's grab his fur so we can level some smithing later on. I don't think I'll actually take any perks in smithing, but that's kind of where I was going for with this, is just leveling up smithing to get the perks from it, I think. The perk points from the level ups. It's hard for me to do a pure roleplay where it's like you get yourself all the way in the head of this character and you only loot what the character is going to loot. You only do skills what that character would do. At some point, I feel the need to start messing with the quote-unquote build of the character, right? So I enjoy the core gameplay loop of Skyrim. I always have. I always will. It's fun for me. I also enjoy playing a lot. I don't enjoy feeling guilty about breaking roleplay rules. I also don't enjoy being overly limited in my gameplay like I was with the Ice Wraith concept. So I'm always looking for ways to make a sort of hybrid play style between roleplay and just playing, because I enjoy both. It's kind of fluid. I fluctuate between one and the other fairly frequently, fairly fluidly, depending on my mood. And I don't feel guilty about it. I'm over it. Whoa, okay, now we got two giants. We have an Atmoran that is hanging in there quite well. Alright, two giants is way harder to beat than just one. They're harder to manage. They really destroy our totems a lot quicker.
Enjoy your last breath.
Whoa! Cut me off at the pass there. Just how quickly they destroy the totems, I think, is the biggest challenge that two giants present. Oh, it got me with the quick backhand there. I thought I had time. That two giants provide over just the one. Double trouble for sure. Let me catch up with chat here real quick. One of the roleplay rules is to not make complicated backstories and try to not self-insert, and also avoid meta like the plague. Yeah, I don't know. Good guidelines to follow if you want a pure roleplay, but I'm done kind of with trying to do a pure play. It's hard. I just like video games too much. And Skyrim being one of my favorite of said video games, makes it even harder to do a pure roleplay, because I do enjoy the game on its own merits. But, you know, you can pick an approach to where you can have the best of both worlds, an approach that works for you, and that's okay. need more stamina here. This is killing us. I don't want to invest too heavily in increasing my stamina and magicka pools. I would rather invest in enchantments and perks and stuff that that increase regeneration. Wasn't there another giant over here that wasn't right up against the fire? I thought there... Oh, yeah. I wonder if it would be easier to take this one on first, if we can avoid detection by the other one a little better. Being a little more out of the way. Need him to engage with the totem. Engage with the totem. There we go. Oh, we got another giant on us here. Gotta do some terrain cheese here. Okay, he's engaged with the Atronach now. Is our chance to strike. There we go. Thank you, Berlina. Let's get him engaged with that totem there. There we go. Get him debuffed. Start wailing on him. Make sure we keep some stamina in the tank. Yeah, this would be much easier if I were regenerating stamina at a quicker clip. Whoa, okay. That's not going to help me with the stamina there, is he? Really need more stamina. Okay, we're good. Did it. Yeah, so like I said earlier, this build is not as powerful as a lot of the builds. It is challenging, but it is doable. I've died a few times. I don't tend to die much on stream. But I have died several times this time around. And yeah, it's challenging, but it's also refreshing in a way, because when you've played on Legendary difficulty for so long, and you know how to game the system a little bit, it's hard to find a challenge in the game after a certain point. And this allows me to stay true to a certain build and concentrate in things that make it stronger, but still have a challenge in the game. And I really like that. I'm enjoying this character a lot. Plus, he has a big old gray beard like I do. I like that. And he's also buff as hell. Just like me. Good evening, Haggis. Welcome aboard. Good to see you, friend. Yes, it is Magus's birthday. Anybody in the chat who doesn't know, please wish our friend Magus80 a happy birthday, because he's a good guy and he deserves to have a happy birthday. Just edited a long video, should be up tomorrow. Been a while. Oh yeah, I haven't seen anything pop up in my subscription feed from you in a while there, Haggis. I will look forward to adding it to my queue. Okay, the crab has no chance against a frost apple. Ooh, looks like we're having Krabby Patties for dinner. California rolls, Krabby Patties. Or just good old steamed mud crabs with melted butter. Man, I'm getting hungry now. You know, I've realized when I do these streams on Saturdays, I usually end the stream because I'm like hungry. And I can tell when it's when I got to start thinking about wrapping up the stream a little bit because I start talking about food and I start making myself hungry. Okay, yeah, it looks like my stream health is dwindling just a bit here. Let me see if is that coming back for you guys? Set to 480. That's not high enough. I mean, if you're good watching it there, I'm not gonna judge you for that, but if I can't stream at anything higher than 480. Let me see here. Let me see where we're at. I did just have the cable internet guy over yesterday or the day before. Oops, now I'm hearing myself. Replacing some of the cabling, going to a lot of the houses in here. So we should have all new hardware going on. It looks like I am streaming fine now at 1080p. So it looks like whatever blip we had, yeah, it looks like stream health is better now. So I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, good point. Yeah, resolution on mobile doesn't really matter too much, does it? Yeah, a lot of people's streams look a lot better on mobile because, you know, you don't have to push as much of a resolution. It's not stretched out. Less pixels to have to fill up. Okay, so let's go ahead and go clear out our bounty. We'll get some more work from the companions. We'll see where they take us. Actually, before I do the companion stuff, I want to head back to the college because I'm not sure how many days left I have before I can progress that quest line. But there's not really a whole lot else to do over here. I haven't done Stillborn Cave. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do Fort Castev as well. I haven't cleared that one out either. So yeah, let's turn in our bounties. Maybe grab. Oh, I also have the whole Dragonborn thing. I don't want to do the Dragonborn until, or the main quest until I'm done with the college stuff and maybe even the companion stuff. I think is how I'm going to play that out. But yeah, let's turn in our bounty. We'll grab some work from Vilkas. See if there's somebody else that we can save. And then we'll start meandering over to the college once we start going over that way a little bit more too. I suspect that we have at least a couple more days, 2 or 3, left before that quest line can continue. If you weren't here at the beginning, I'm running the not so fast Mage's college quest mod. It basically inserts wait periods of 4 to 6 days in between certain quest phases for that, which effectively kind of makes the quest line last a little longer. Because on its own, if you're just tearing through it, you can get through it in an hour, probably. An hour or 2. So for roleplay purposes, if I'm just playing on my own, it just makes more sense for Tolfdir to study these books a little bit longer, or to study the Eye of Magnus a little bit longer. Just to stretch things out a little bit. Let's see. Do we have anything to
I
sell
don't claim
you,
to be the best
Adrian?
blacksmith in Whiterun. The finest weapons and armor.
Think that we do.
Don't forget to check
I really
inside
like the
shop if you
Crimson
need anything.
Archer gear. I was just thinking, Brungarr isn't going to use it. I think I'm pretty set on his equipment loadout here, depending on what kind of axes we find in the future. But there might at some point be a follower that he uses that could make use of it. But I think I'm going to stick with you know, just the college students as followers.
I breathe now in royalty and reshape this land with time.
So what kind of plans does everybody have for the weekend? Hi, Wind. Oh, he's wearing a kilt. Yeah. And look, he's wearing his wellies, too. This guy's Scottish. He's a fellow Scot, William. How are you doing, Wind? Or the Wind? Glad to see you pop in.
The Jarl is, as you can imagine.
So yeah, what's the weekend plans here? Today I think I'm going to try to make another dent in cleaning out my garage, and I got some foliage to rake up in the backyard. I think I'm gonna have a spa day for my dog too. I need to trim her claws and give her a bath. And I think that's about it. Just try to chill and maybe watch something, play some games from my backlog, try to get through Assassin's Creed Odyssey a little bit more.
Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your reward.
Just getting started for the day, huh? Sounds like you slept in, although I think you've been struggling with sleep a little bit too,
So
so
your visit to Dragon's Reach.
may or may not mean that you are well rested. I hope that you are. I myself slept very well last night. I was really looking forward to a weekend. I always seem to sleep better when I know that I don't have to get up and work the next day, you know? Planning on playing Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, and you may stream it. Nice, nice. If I am available, I just talked about all the different chores I have planned for the day, but if I'm available, I'd like to join. Have you played Horizon Zero Dawn yet, or are you just getting started with it? Oh, wait till 4? Yeah. Sounds like you got a bad cycle going there. Love AC Odyssey. Oh yeah, we've talked about AC Odyssey. There's a lot in that game. I don't know if I'm going to do everything in it. I just want to see how the main story pans out. I do enjoy the game a lot. I just got so many other games on my backlog that I can't, you know, really concentrate on it. Played it for a bit. Yeah, I feel like if you are familiar with Assassin's Creed games, there's a very, very small learning curve for Horizon Zero Dawn. It's basically the same game engine with a different coat of paint on there. I mean, of course, thematically and everything, they have their differences, but under the hood, they operate pretty much exactly the same way.
The Rift is seeing a lot of trouble from some riffraff. We need to head in and break them up.
Oh yeah.
Some people don't think I'm smart.
I could do that.
The Rift is seeing a lot of trouble. Nothing but a bunch of lonely bandits. Cowards who will take little effort.
I forgot to install the non-thug style companions stuff that removes all the, you know, go break this person's thumbs to get the money that growed out of them.
Excellent.
I forgot to install that on this profile. I don't know if it's good for an already existing playthrough. I don't think that it is. But I am running the mod where you have to do more Radiant quests in order to progress that quest line. Brungarr is not the type of person who is going to go rough someone up to get money out of someone. No shakedowns for Brungarr. So if Farkas offers us those jobs, we'll turn them down. In the meantime, we'll just go get something from Vilkas. Or even Aela, even though I don't think that Brungarr is too into extermination either. Also just got Phoenix Rising. That also got really good reviews. The art style on that is not something that I'm attracted to, really, but everybody says it's a great game. So I put it on my wish list. I'll just wait for it to go on sale, really. Oh, that's a new Ubisoft game as well, isn't it? So you can't get that on Steam either. So there's not really a wish list for that, I guess. I have to look into the Ubisoft store and see if they have stuff like that that will notify you when your stuff goes on sale that you want. So yeah, my backlog is big enough that I don't need to be shelling out top dollar for new games when I have so many amazing older games that I paid $10 for. Waiting and ready to go. So I think when I'm done with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I'm going to move on to Resident Evil 7, which by all accounts is an amazing game, if not a bit of a departure from... Ooh, I can speak with Tolfdir. Maybe that's ready to go now. It's a bit of a departure from the gameplay that you'd expect from the Resident Evil series of late. But Resident Evil Village, which I think they're not so subtly disguising either a tie-in or the fact that it is Resident Evil 8, is due out this year, and I want to get through 7 before that comes out. So that's next on my list. And then I also want to get back into Cyberpunk. I have some ideas for a new build that I'm getting kind of excited for. I haven't played that game in a couple weeks. Just got kind of burnt out on it. I played it a ton when it came out.
Where do you want to go? Climb and back, and we'll be off.
And I started doing a melee-centered playthrough on it, and it just got to the point where it was just rush in and start punching people in the face, and they would all just die. It got really dry. It wasn't all that engaging. It wasn't all that nuanced. And I just kind of got burnt out on it. But I've got some ideas with how to spice it up a little bit, and I'm looking forward to getting back into that as well. Also, it seems like there was a press release from CDPR either yesterday, I think it was yesterday, detailing plans on how they're going to roll some things out, and I haven't looked into that yet. But I'm sure fixes and DLC are on the way. Okay, what am I doing out here? The world is lovely. Phoenix is a Zelda Breath of the Wild clone. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I haven't played Breath of the Wild. It looks amazing. I think I would like it a lot. The generation of, or the previous few generations of Zelda games that came before that, I enjoyed them, but they're really not my favorite. I would almost rather play a BGS game, or, you know, even like an Ubisoft game like Assassin's Creed or something else. The Zelda games just never, the gameplay in them never really appealed to me all that strongly. What is this here? Okay, let's get this this dead kid delivered to the priest over here. But Breath of the Wild, I know, added a lot of things in terms of its game engine and things that you could do. It's a little free form and open world than previous Zelda games were. So I really do need to carve out time to get into that game. And I have my Switch hooked up to my TV out in the living room right now, so I could play that out on the couch, like, you know, when my wife goes to bed, or maybe she'd be interested in watching me play it as well. This would be something that we could do together. There are certain games that she does enjoy watching me play. Maybe that would be one of them. I don't know. But yeah, if Phoenix Rising is a clone of Breath of the Wild, that could be interesting. But I think I would want to play Breath of the Wild first. It's on Ubisoft Store only. I've only played a bit of Breath of the Wild. Wait for some more patches for Cyberpunk. That's not a bad idea. Ocarina of Time was fabulous. Played it lots of times. Yeah, that was. Everybody loves Majora's Mask. Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time. I'm probably pronouncing things incorrectly again. I played a lot of Wind Waker, which was fantastic. I would still rather play something like Skyrim. Oh, I do have night vision because I'm a werewolf. That does help, but I would rather use my candlelight spell here instead. Wind Waker I played a lot of, never really had the urge to go replay it. Twilight Princess I played a lot of as well. Beat it, never really got the urge to go replay it either. Those games were fantastic, the quality was amazing. Where is Helgerd? Is she out and about in the graveyard? She might be. I'll find my way back out there. A lot of quality there, just oozing character. The art direction in all of those games is fantastic. The theme, the feeling, the tone of everything is always really cool. Just something about them never really clicked with me as far as, you know, wanting to replay the game all the time, like a lot of my other favorites.
Sometimes the burial has to wait for the ground to thaw, though.
What's that about? Okay, I don't know if there was an official... Welcome aboard, Simpa. Sorry, I've been lurking for a few minutes. Yeah. I subscribe to these news aggregate YouTube channels to get news for the games that I'm interested in. A lot of them, all they do is kind of just like spit out what they see on Reddit or Twitter or whatever. But it's easier to consume that while I work than it is for me to go out and look for those news articles on my own and read them. I saw a video by, I think, Open World Games, who does report on the different news items, and it said that there was a big drop from CDPR about DLC patches and the multiplayer thing, but I haven't gotten around to watching that video yet. And other things in the news, you know, have kind of completely overshadowed video game news as well, so it's probably easier for that to be swallowed up in the last few days. But yeah, sorry, I don't know any details on that. Okay, so it looks like Tolfdir is available to be spoken to at the moment. Is there anything else that I want to take care of in the area while I'm here? So let's do this. Let's instead of taking the carriage to Winterhold, let's hoof it. We'll go up through the path through Anga's Mill and everything. If Fort Castev is not cleared off or cleared out, I will take care of that. I don't remember if I've done that or not. And Stillborn Cave, I'm pretty sure I avoided because I was too low level, so we can do that as well. Wind needs coffee. Okay, get caffeinated. Do your thing. Twilight Princess was good too. The new Hyrule Warriors is set before Breath of the Wild. Hyrule Warriors did get a lot of buzz, but I didn't look into it too much just because I'm not a devout follower of Zelda. It did get a lot of buzz. I heard that it was probably pretty good, but I have no idea even what kind of game that is to know if I'd be interested in it. Twilight Princess raised the bar quite high. I think I actually enjoyed Wind Waker more than Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess was really cool because I got to use the Wiimote the motion controls with it. So you got to control his sword with the right controller while kind of running around with the left controller on that nunchuck attachment. It was a really cool way to play that game. It worked really well. I think they got the input down perfect for that. But in terms of the game itself, on its own merit as a video game, I think I liked the Wind Waker better. I think I enjoyed the story a little more. Different gameplay mechanics I thought were a little more creative. But, you know, as a traditional game, a game with traditional inputs is probably going to be a little bit more polished in terms of the experiences that you're going to have. They're not going to be as geared toward what essentially amounted to an input gimmick with the Twilight Princess. But I did really enjoy Twilight Princess as well. Hope a new Metroid game is in the works. I love Samus. Yeah, it's been a while. Has there been anything officially from Nintendo outside of the Metroid Prime series? That, God, that must have been 10 years ago, at least, for the last release of that. Those were also really high-quality games, too. I did play Metroid Prime 1 and enjoyed it a lot. I actually don't remember anything about the story, though. Is it that Ice Wraith all the way over there that we're fussing about? I guess so. Let's see if we can get him to engage with our totem here. No, I think I just killed my totem. Maybe not. The Ice Wraith actually froze our totem. He froze our totem. That means two things. Engage with my totem. Two things. That's a good two things. It looks like Okado's triggered there. Okay. Engage with my totem. Ye foul wolves. Dunzo. I think. Oh, there we go. We got that level up. Okay, so once we get back to Winterhold, I want to save my level up. I have one more level in training, I think. There's still another enemy nearby? Oh, more wolves. Okay. Oh, that wolf might actually be captured. We'll let him go. Hopefully he doesn't turn aggro on me. Are you good? You're not gonna hurt me, are you? You can go about your way. Okay. He's good. He's cool. Played the trilogy, beat the final boss in the third. They made 3 Metro Prime games? I only remember 2. I think I only played the one from GameCube. I think all in all I did more gaming on the GameCube than I did on the Wii. I tend to play the Switch a lot more because, you know, when we were all... Wow, okay. When we were all allowed to travel, my wife and I would go on a trip or two every year, and I'd spend a lot of the time in an airplane or at a hotel. And I would play Skyrim on the Switch, and it was awesome. Now I play some different things with my wife on the Switch every once in a while out on the couch. Oops. But haven't really gotten into any of the big major AAA releases on that. In terms of Mario, I love the 2D stuff a lot better than the 3D stuff. I know the 3D stuff is good. It just never caught on for me. So for me, it was all about, you know, Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario Brothers, or Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Brothers. That was my jam. The 2D stuff. So New Super Mario Brothers on the Wii was really good. I played that a lot. But yeah, I didn't know that they actually made an entire trilogy out of the Metroid Prime series. That's cool. I'm gonna have to go back and check those out at some point. Sore arms using the remote. Man, I feel like I gave myself. I feel like I gave myself tendinitis playing that Wii bowling. When I first got my Wii. Okay, it looks like this has been cleared out already because the Stormcloaks have taken over here. Which is fine. We have no beef with the Cloaks. We have no beef with the Empire either. At some point soon, though, we may have a beef with the Thalmor. They remade the trilogy for the Wii. Oh, nice. I bet I could get it on the online market. On the Switch. They have a lot of old Wii and Wii U games on the Switch that you can play. Okay. These Ice Wolves hit hard. He doesn't care about my totem. He doesn't care about Frost Atronach. He's just taking to come. He's just coming to take a chunk of corned beef hash out of my Scottish hiney there. He had a vendetta. Sightless Pit is what we're going for. Almost said Sightless Piss. Well, that's flirting with disaster right there. Taking a Sightless Piss. Would not recommend. Oh, looks like we're getting some buffering here, huh? Commander in Elite Dangerous is called Sam Aran. Very nice. You play Elite Dangerous? Oh, yeah, yeah. I knew that Simba played Elite Dangerous. I'm looking into getting going in that game, too, at some point. Apparently has really nice VR support that I am looking forward to using. I also have a HOTAS stick that I could use with it as well. So I think it would be a nice immersive experience. Also, I'd like to try out that Star Wars Squadron games with the VR headset. I've heard a lot of good things about that. I've done driving simulators with the VR headset, and it's awesome. I haven't done any flight sims or space sims yet, and I think that would be really, really cool. Maybe I'll put that on my backlog after Resident Evil 7. Okay. Looks like our... Hold on, let me just check my stream health here just real quick. There was a small blip there a second ago. I just want to make sure everything's all good before I continue on. Yes. Stream health is back in excellent condition. So let's go take on some Twisted Falmer, eh? I think this would be quite a shell shock for Brungarr here. He had a good relationship with some of the Falmer back in the day before he got frozen in that icy avalanche. To see them twisted in such a way as they are now,
I don't like where this is going.
would be quite the shock to him. Oh, after that power attack, he came right after us, didn't he? I'm using Healing Touch, which is a druid spell from Forgotten Magic as my healing spell. And that is progressing. I started this character doing some alchemy as well, but trying to add alchemy to an already wide playstyle in terms of skills and perks that you have to spread out across many different trees just became too much. I believe that a shaman or shaman would definitely be into using alchemical ingredients for certain rituals and things like that, but it just became too much. I got to a point where I needed to stay focused. Where did that guy go? Okay, let's see if we can maneuver him back around. We're good there. Okay, got him to backpedal right into his own trap there. That's always useful. So yeah, I do have several other characters that do use alchemy, so... Whoa! Alright, that scared the bejesus out of me. Oh, Adam Magica. Damn. Alright, this is gonna be tough. I do have that level up that I can rely on to save my bacon, but I also do have one level of training left to use that I don't want to give up. As I was saying earlier, a breadthy build like this one, it becomes more important to kind of balance out the different skills that you're using to keep each viable. And the best way to do that is through training to get lagging skills to catch back up to the ones that that seem to be progressing faster. So I'd like to save that, if at all possible. Now watch, we get back to the college to do some training, and it says I have actually taken all 5 levels of training already. That's alright. I don't mind the challenge. I'm up for it. Ooh, Conjuration, that's a good one. That will help. Catch up on chat here. Considering picking it up with the Odyssey... Oh, yeah, you're talking about Elite Dangerous, yeah. I don't have any of the expansions for it. I haven't even played the base game yet. I just kind of want to tinker with it in VR, see how well it does. Have the Cytec X55 joystick and throttle for Elite. Oh, yeah, that's the Cytec makes some really nice sticks. If I get into that and get into more flight sims at some point, I might invest in a better... HOTAS stick. The one that I have now is just I think it's a Thrustmaster. It's really basic. It was made for the PS3 but works on PC. I think I spent like $30 on it or something like that. Ship parked at a faraway star for months now. Not had much time to play it recently. All the exploration data. I don't know if that's a thing. That's kind of scary if it is, if you lose exploration data. "2D platformers for the win," jokes aside. Yeah. Oh, look at the old man over here. I don't hold with them 3D thingamabobs. Stick to my 2D Mario. Was the shit, still is. It's very true. It was the shit, and it still is. You know, I still actually do boot up Super Mario 3 and New Super Mario Bros. Wii on a fairly regular basis. It still holds up. It's excellent. They're excellent games. And technically, New Super Mario Brothers is newer than Super Mario 3D. Just so I can defend myself there a little bit. Oh, okay, that guy's tough. Somebody's shooting me, and that really hurt. Been years since I played it. VR support is amazing. Wish I had played it with HOTAS as well. Very heavy emphasis on ships and builds. Think you'd like that. Very grindy though, which is probably not your thing. I don't mind grind as long as I enjoy the core gameplay loop. Like, I'll grind Skyrim and Fallout 4 all day. I have a little harder time grinding through Cyberpunk and other games. But yeah, if I enjoy the core gameplay loop, I don't mind grinding one bit. How about Paper Mario? You know, I've never actually played Paper Mario. I want to give that a try. And I believe I can find that on the Switch online marketplace too. Paper Mario, I know, is a high-quality, excellent game with a great art direction and everything. Very novel in terms of like certain gameplay mechanics that they use and stuff too. I would love to get into that game and give it a shot. More recently, I've played Super Mario Maker 2, which just the base game by itself, even without trying to make the levels and everything, is a lot of fun as a 2D platformer and even a puzzler, 2D platform puzzler to a certain extent as well. Excellent game. I actually really loved that. And that's another one of those games that my wife actually liked watching me play. She was into it. And I haven't gotten into any of the actual level making on there yet, but I would like to at some point. I think that would be fun. Looks like all these enemies are hung up on something. Oh. Oh, that poison is going to hurt a lot. Good thing it wasn't too long-lived. Yeah, I think they're bugged a little bit. Oh well. Whoa, there he comes. Get him focused on that totem there. Whoa. Okay. He came at me there for a second, it looked like. Bloom lurkers are tough. They are no joke. You got any more summons in your pocket there, Berlina? Oh, out of stamina. That was scary. Hang in there, Berlina. Okay, there we go. I think what I need is the perk in the restoration tree that restores stamina along with health when you do a healing spell. Flawless Ruby will be good for enchanting when I get around to that. One-handed attacks, I'll disenchant it, but I won't need it. Orca Shield and the Steel Claws I can sell. You know what? May as well take the Iron Ore too. I can transmute that into silver and make rings out of them. Is there anything else in here that was valuable? Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm still being a little liberal with what I loot because money is important for me for training right now. Okay, just making sure I got my spells all set, just in case we run into something at the... on the other side of this cave door here. Mario was fun too. Oh, he's getting a little squirrely. Alright. Help you out there a little bit there, Brolina. Okay, so we got some good gameplay in here. I think I'm getting the hang of this build a little bit, this playstyle. I'm enjoying it. It's a nice magic warrior hybrid. I really like the the dichotomy between buffing enemies and, or I'm sorry, buffing allies and debuffing enemies. Well, I'm going the wrong way here, aren't I? About face. And then using your warrior skills to clean up the scraps. It's working well. So yeah, I think the shaman build is a lot stronger than what a lot of the earlier critics of this archetype in Triumvirate I think maybe realized. Anision really seems to be pointing you in a very specific direction with these mage archetypes in Triumvirate, as far as how you need to kind of spec your build out and everything. And I think as long as you follow those hints closely, you end up with something that is really well-balanced, interesting, challenging, and fun all the way through. Which is at least how I feel about the shaman archetype so far. I still have yet to try any of them out, any of the other ones out, aside from, you know, just using spells here and there in other playthroughs from that mod. But I am interested in trying out the other archetypes as a central building block for other characters in the future. Let me catch up on chat again one more time here. Love Frost Atronox and Flame Atronox in Skyrim. Amazing design, add a transparency mod on top of that. Yeah, and I really like how Ordinator handles the standard Atronox as well. They there are perks later on in the Conjuration tree that strengthen them and add different abilities to the standard Atronox, and it's really cool. The design also is awesome as well. The Flame Atronox look amazing, I agree. The Frost Atronox look really cool too. They kind of got a golem, or golem actually, not golem, they're two different things. A golem vibe to them. And their tankiness is really good. The Frost Atronox are quite powerful. I'm also running Mysticism with the Ordinator patch, and I think Mysticism has spells for more powerful Atronox as well. So that's good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Atronox. I watched my son streamed Paper Mario, and it's so cute how flat they are. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The art style of that game is super unique, and it's really good, and it's just oozing character for sure. It's very roguelike in that regard. You fail missions, lose exploration data, even your ship if you don't have insurance, 15% or something of the ship's value to get it back. Wow, that's pretty hardcore, actually. That's really harsh. Which, you know, is appealing on some level. Not so much in others, I guess. It definitely appeals to a more hardcore audience. And I don't mind hardcore games like that. It adds a little bit of tension to your regular gameplay. But if I'm in a more casual mood, that definitely probably would not strike my fancy. Just depends on what mood I'm in. The Wind asks, what level is your character and what is his name? His name is Brungarr Mammoth-Ban, and he got that name because he takes on mammoths one by one, and The sort of beginning of this character, his origin, is that he was fighting a mammoth on the coast off the Sea of Ghosts over here, and their combined might and just the ferocity of that battle was enough to cause an avalanche of all the snow and ice and everything of the mountains around the area. So they both got buried and frozen in time for thousands of years. And then the college mages came, and they were going to excavate and thaw out that mammoth to see if they could study the differences between a mammoth that was thousands of years old and what kind of evolutionary toll was taken on the mammoths of the more modern day. When they thawed out the mammoth and got him out of the ice block that he was in, they found Brungarr, an ancient Atmoran, kind of tucked away behind the mammoth. And Brungar's strength of spirit proved to be superior to that of the mammoth, because once they thawed out Brungarr, he was alive. He was animated again. And so there's a symbiotic, mutually beneficial relationship between the mages of the college and Brungarr. The mages teach him the language, the alphabet, literacy, and all that, and the ways of the world, because Skyrim is a much different place. It's a completely different world now than it was when he was frozen. So he relies on them for education and help navigating the culture, the newer culture of Skyrim. And in turn, he will accompany them on excavations to Nordic ruins and things like that, and interpret things like the Hall of Stories and the different glyphs that they find throughout excavating these ruins, and also get a first-hand account of what life was like back then. So that is a rundown of the origins of this character. As far as the level, it's mid-30s somewhere. I don't want to go into the level screen because that will cause a level up, and I really want to get this last level of training in before I do that level up. But I think it's mid-30s. I am playing on legendary difficulty, so and I'm using the Triumvirate Shaman archetype. I kind of took that on as a challenge because I know a lot of people were struggling to find the strength of that archetype, and I think I found it pretty well. That Falmer, that Sightless Pit, and the Falmer are no joke, and we were able to handle it. It is a challenge. I am dying more than I tend to normally, but I'm getting better at it as I get a handle on how to play. So let's
always encouraging to see the younger generation
see if we have the option. Yes.
Does he have information about our
so we can progress to the Mages Guild quest line here.
Is that the one about something?
And then we can start. We can get some.
Something that men.
Actually, Tolfdir is
I'll have to make a point of
is an alteration trainer, so I can see if I still do have a training level left.
Tear myself away. Whatever this is, its beauty is like nothing I've ever seen before. If you'd allow me to,
and if I don't, I can go ahead and take my level up, and I can get you his.
Make a few observations. I'm sure you've already noticed the markings. They're quite unlike anything we've seen before.
His level and how I expect him and everything.
Eliad, Gwemmer, Daedric, not even Falmer. None of them are a match. Quite curious indeed. Now, I'm not sure that you're quite as attuned as I am, given my extensive years of experience. But can you feel that?
Yes, I felt this in Sarthal thousands of years ago. It is powerful and it is dangerous, and I fear for this elf here who seems to be making hungry eyes at it.
Archmage Aaron is already hard at work, and hopefully we'll have more information soon.
Okay. So maybe I was mistaken. The not so fast I think now triggers. Because in vanilla, I think Ancano comes and interrupts, right?
Your concerns are not.
So maybe I was waiting needlessly because I just didn't see the map marker there. Oh well, I'll get through it at some point. I might have 4 to 6 days to wait now before this quest can can progress because of the not so fast mod I'm running.
I can certainly share a bit.
Okay, I do have 1 level left, and I wanted to spend it in Conjuration because that was the one I lacked the most at the time. But I since have gotten a skill book and leveled up Conjuration, I think. So Alteration, I think, is above all of them because of the spells that I have hooked up to Okada's Recital. So let's see if we can find Colette and do some restoration training here. Colette is either in the Hall of Countenance here, or she's up in the library. I am running, oh, it's not Obscura's, it's, Immersive College of Winterhold, because I don't want this character to become Archmage. That will be Tolfdir's job, and Obscura's doesn't
Divine smile on you, friend.
Doesn't handle that yet, anyway. I'm also... I tend toward Immersive College of Winterhold because it works with spell research. And I have patches that that work with other things for placement of certain, like, test benches for, like, Arcanum and stuff like that. So, I know that many people... prefer Obscura's College Overhaul, or Obscura's College Overhaul. I'm not sure which one that is. I can't remember.
I'm working
but because of compatibility issues and certain features that it provides that the other one does not, I'm running Immersive College of Winterhold, which is a good overhaul. I am quite pleased with it. Not into roguelikes at all, but even I have to admit they handle it fairly in ED. That's an unfortunate acronym for Elite Dangerous, I gotta say. Sorry, I'm 12. I have to chuckle at stuff like that. I can't help it. Okay, Colette might be upstairs at the top of the Hall of Elements here, or she might be in the library. She wasn't in the Hall of Countenance. And she doesn't seem to be upstairs here either. So let's head back downstairs, go to the Arcanium, see if we can track her down there. Oh, where is the entrance? Here it is. One thing about all these stairwells that Immersive College of Winterhold adds in is that I get really turned around in the Hall of Elements. I rarely know where I am anymore.
Enchanting services are one of the few things
that is Sergius.
with the rest of
We will be doing some enchanting, but that is not a priority at the moment. Enchanting levels very quickly. And you're able to catch up with
Please
that
don't
one.
bother the Archmage unless it's absolutely necessary.
Much easier with any other skill, in my opinion, anyway. So I am saving that one for last when I have all my equipment
Good day, friend. Keeping well?
finalized and everything like
Mirabelle
that.
does a fine job as Master Wizard, I suppose.
I'm also running the
Let me know if there's
visual overhaul for 3D NPCs. There was a new one for the female NPCs that came out, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago. It touches up all the female interesting NPCs.
Every time I approach him about
and they look
another
great.
book, it's the same story.
I'm into it.
Still here.
Now, where the heck is Mirabelle? Finis will give us Conjuration.
My type of work without fear of persecution.
Why are you wearing your hood, Berlina? Thought I told you not to.
That incident in Morthal was just a misunderstanding.
All right, well, let's just do Conjuration. I don't feel like running all over the place to find
Skyrim
Mirabelle.
have no appreciation for
Or not
what
Mirabelle, Colette.
Not that I care. I'll teach you some of what I know, but be careful.
You can see how expensive training is already. Okay, let's go ahead. We do need to pray to Shore as well, so let's do that. And while we're praying, we'll go ahead and take our level up. And we can see what level we're at. Sorry, Wind, that took a very long time. I want to say I'm at somewhere around level 34 or level 35. Oh, I already have meditation active there. Favor with shore is 174.2%. Oh, and I forgot to use the whole shield thing when I was fighting those giants. Damn, I was using the totems instead. Shield thing would have been cool to show off there. Anyway, let's take our level up now. As I said before, we are going to focus on stamina for a little bit because that's really what's killing us more than anything. Oh, 27. We're actually a much lower level than I thought. So yeah, this shaman build is really more viable at legendary difficulty than I think anybody really gave it credit for. As you can see with that Sightless Pit run, it was tough, but we made it through. So it is viable. It's strong enough, and I think it's a heck of a lot of fun. It tends to be a lot more power balanced than many of the other builds that people come up with, I would think. But yeah, in terms of magic, we focus on conjuration. We don't have much that we can take here until we get to March of Oblivion, where we can start summoning multiple totems or totems and filias. But we still need to level that up. It will be worth the perk investment, even if we're not using all of these perks, to be able to summon multiple things once we get up to March of Oblivion here, which is the ultimate Ordinator conjuration perk. So we're not investing any more perks into that until we get to level 100. Restoration does the sort of spirit fire pyre that does damage over time to stamina and magicka until those are drained, and then it starts hitting health. That looks like we're buffering a little bit. Should pop up back up. We've been buffering a little bit, but it's been minor, I think, so we'll keep going with it here. That's restoration as far as some of also with some of the passives that I'm using. Visions of Healing and Visions of Opportunity, which helps me to absorb health from enemies and also reduce armor and magic resistance. Let's see, I'm also, as part of the Shaman archetype, focused on Alteration as well. That affects the spells, the stave spells. I'm only running one right now that I have hooked up to Okado's Recital, and that enchants power attacks so that it does armor and magic resistance deduction with a power attack with any melee weapon. So that's why you see me, the whole playstyle of this, conjure the totem, get the damage over time effect going from the spirit flame, switch to my battle axe and hit him with a power attack as soon as I have the opportunity, and that causes severe debuffing of all the enemies while also buffing Brungarr and Berlina separately. So there's that. That's a rundown of how I play. Well, that acronym's lost on me, but hey, that's on me. No, ED stands I think the most ubiquitous meaning of ED is erectile dysfunction. So there's that. That is why ED is unfortunate. Oh, we are buffering here, aren't we? Okay, I'm having some connection difficulties here. We'll see if it clears up in a bit here. It's been pretty good all day. And like I said, we just had some maintenance done on our cable lines here that should make the connection cleaner, but if there's more going on in terms of traffic in the neighborhood, that could affect my upload stuff here. We'll give it a second to catch up. It looks like it's improving now. So all right, we can keep going. So yeah, ED equals erectile dysfunction to most people, I would say, Simpa. The fact that it means elite dangerous to a few probably really confuses the hell out of everybody else who might be listening in on the conversation. So yeah, there you go. So now we have some time to burn before the next section of the Mage's quest line becomes available. I don't know what to do next here. Oh, let's do some training here. I have a perk to take too, and we need to also take a look. Looks like restoration is what's lagging behind everything else. See, we got restoration at 52, which is the lowest out of all the magic skills. Block is at 53, which is the next lowest. Two-handed at 57. And light armor at 58. So it does indeed seem that restoration is our candidate for training here. But what can we take in terms of perks here? Warrior's Flame is one that I really want to do. It really goes hand in hand with the buffing allies and debuffing enemies motif that we have going on with this character. I think that will go quite well with everything. So we'll keep that one in our back pocket. And I just want to take a quick look at everything else here and see. Another thing I've been doing to keep skills balanced is counting perks that I've taken in each one of these skill trees. So two-handed, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 perks in two-handed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in light armor. Faster movement speed would definitely be a boon to this character. And that goes along with the unhindered stuff too. Battlefield maneuverability is key in getting our enemies to latch onto our totems and other minions and leave us alone because our defense isn't great. Block helps as well. Apocalypse Proof would be very helpful with ranged magic enemies. We can get a timed block on the magic coming out of us. It helps mitigate that damage. So let's see, we had 7 perks in two-handed, 6 in light armor. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in block. Alteration, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in alteration, so we could stand to take another alteration perk, but I don't see anything I would actually put that in. We do armor already, so that wouldn't help us. I think just alter attributes is the next one that we would take there. So we're at a dead end on that one. Restoration still is our strongest candidate. Warrior's Flame is the big one there. What is Edgewalker? It might help, but not necessary. And Conjuration we're kind of stuck into. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. So we're kind of due to take a perk in Restoration anyway. So yep, that's what we'll do. That should help, I think. And we've already been through the college looking for Paulette. I haven't been able to find her. She might be in one of these labyrinthine corridors that Immersive College of Winterhold adds. There's a whole like alchemical shop and everything down underneath the greenhouse over here too, where she might be hanging out. But Danica, Pure Spring over in Whiterun, is the master level restoration trainer, so we can go over there. There is also a bunch of Triumvirate spells that I have yet to purchase because my level isn't there yet. I did just get all the Adept level spells for the Shaman from all the respective vendors. But I have to wait till level 75 on some of these now, I think, to get the Expert ones before they become available. And I think that there is a new Stave spell, which enchants power attacks. I think there's a new Summon, maybe a different kind of Philia. I haven't showed off the Philias yet, either. I'm going to have to find a way to do that. Oh, it's going to take forever. You know what? Just for the sake of brevity on stream here, I'm going to do some fast traveling. I need to do more explorative play on my own off camera because I am running the perks, the Spirit Tutors and the Wild Shrines, which the Wild Shrines give you boosts to your different magic skills based on the shrines that you find. And the Spirit Tutors, you can find them out in the wild as well, and they will also buff up your restoration skills.
Hello, child of Kinneret. I'll gladly share my knowledge.
So the more time I can spend out in the wild not fast traveling... Ooh, I'm going to run out of money really fast here, aren't I? Alright, I got all 5. That's awesome. 153 gold to my name. I think I have some stuff that I can sell, though.
All I can think about is my son, my soul.
Alright, let's find one more dungeon clear. Maybe we'll turn in for the night, get some food, some rest, and we'll do one more dungeon clear so I can show off the Philia. And maybe if I can find another giant camp around here. I think there's one like right around here somewhere, isn't there? If I can find a giant camp that I haven't cleared out. Oh, there's one over by White River Watch over here as well, which I still haven't cleared out, by the way, it seems like. Yeah, there's one right over here that we can go do, and I want to show off the Shield Thane for being a devotee of Shore as well. So yeah, let's get some food, some drinks, some rest, and we'll go take on some more giants. Oh, hello, Lord Daka. Welcome aboard, friend. Glad to see ya. Happy holidays to everyone, by the way. Wasn't in Discord a lot lately. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Happy holidays to you as well. Yeah, I had a good holiday season. Well, as good as could be. My wife and I decided to stay in the bubble, not see family. Just because Arizona right now has the highest infection rates in the world. And I don't want to kill my parents. So there's that. But I did have a good holiday. But I am kind of looking forward to getting back to regular life here, the daily grind as well. Getting back to normal, you know? The holidays, even if you're not seeing family all over the place, can be exhausting. Ordinator Synergies, that is the name of the game, my friend. That's why I, have stuck with Ordinator on top of all other perk overhauls for so long. Indeed, indeed. And there are some interesting synergies along with the Triumvirate stuff, also by Anai Sion as well.
With answers comes...
okay, so we need food. Let's eat some of this bear steak. More cheese. Maybe an apple. We are sated. We are also severely thirsty somehow. I don't know when all that popped up. I was probably focused on killing stuff and didn't realize that I was so parched. Okay. Also some of the good stuff. Why not?
But with knowledge comes ignorance.
If it's work you need, How about
I
chopping
do,
up some
you know,
wood for
like
the
to try to
fires?
keep a Haunting Brew mead on me, at least until I get the
Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's
the
men
Fortify
came by and
carry
left
weight
this bounty
enchantment. Because if you do have Haunting Brew mead and you encounter the Merry Revelers, and you give them some Haunting Brew mead, they will give you an enchanted ring. And it's a valuable enchantment. You can disenchant that sucker and use it to level up your enchantment skill.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
Sometimes you need a holiday from the holidays. You said something there, my friend. Yeah, that's what I was thinking originally. We'll see where this bounty takes us, though.
I understand.
We might be able to do 2 birds, 1 stone type thing. Oh, boy. And I crashed. You know what's funny? I don't crash at all on my own, and then as soon as I tried to stream this character, I've had 2 crashes today on this stream, and 1 crash on a previous one. Yeah, I thought there was a Giant's Camp right down there, but couldn't remember exactly where. I know that there's one right outside of White River Watch, though. And something tells me... Well, I don't know. Where did that bounty go? Was it Halted Steam? No, I've already done Halted Steam. That bounty either probably went to Redoran's Retreat, the one with the Moon Forge, or White River Watch. And I think that there is a Giant's Camp pretty near to all of those. So let's see where that takes us. And we can do a giant camp to end the stream. Because I'm getting hungry. And that never fails to be my top motivation for not playing video games, is eating food. I haven't mastered the art of eating and playing at the same time yet. Something I still need some practice at. We'll go with the ale and save the Haunting Brew mead for the Merry Revelers. How about that? Quick saving now, so I don't have to redo all that.
How about chopping up some wood for the fire? Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by and left this bounty letter. Sure
Your current
thing.
character
It's yours for a day.
is a shadow spell plus restoration damage build. That false light perk is really fun. Targeted heals deal damage when... Yeah, I've messed with that one too. It's really cool for like a cleric or paladin type playthrough.
I understand.
Where you can do damage and heal your allies at the same time with the same spell. That's really cool. Kind of like that character in Overwatch with the sniper rifle that shoots either poison or healing syringes. I played that game for a couple months. It was pretty fun. Am I still thirsty? I think I might still be thirsty. There we go. We'll go out there nice and bright and early in the morning, but not too early for there not to be any sun. So let's see, we got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go about 7 in the morning. 12 hours sleep. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Couple that with Way of the Monk Unarmored Skill. I haven't played with Way of the Monk. I usually just go right through Ordinator for my unarmed stuff. And that seems to be pretty cool. Along with some animation mods. Good to go. How did I steal a potato? I don't remember doing that. Take some snout, some cabbage, some apple pie. Oh, we're gonna need to fill up our water skins too.
The Imperials.
Let's get that done.
Answers
I enjoy this work well enough, but I'm ready to... Of course.
Yeah, Simpa, same. I actually started playing it on a free weekend. I played it on my PlayStation 4. And I went out immediately after that weekend was over and bought it. So, you know, that goes to show that giving your game out for free for limited periods of time is a great way to sell your product and get people to spend money on it. Just let people know what they're getting into. I actually did that with Fallout 76 not too long ago too, and I gotta say the game was a lot better than I had anticipated and a lot better than what people had said. It's just the online thing is just not my thing. Okay, so yeah, Golden Rock, this is the one that I was originally going to go for anyway. Wait, is that where my bounty is? Okay. That's where the bounty is. Yeah, I played it for a good couple months. I had a blast with it. I never really... It's just pretty much like all of those competitive FPS games. I have good fun with it for a couple months and then don't really have any will to go back and play it again. That's the way it goes. Who's this? Rasad, okay.
The wind blows bitter cold in this place.
You know it does. Makes you feel alive. I also can't condone the loot box thing, which Overwatch definitely did, but they didn't put any gameplay enhancing stuff in their loot boxes. Still a gambling mechanic. No bueno. But as this is the story with a lot of those arena shooters, the way you make your character look is a big deal for people who play that game. It allows people to differentiate their characters from others. So even though that loot box mechanic doesn't affect anything in terms of gameplay, it still is a key feature of the game, and to monetize, especially for a game that already costs $60 like that, for you to monetize a key feature of your game like that after somebody's paid full price for it, it's still not cool. Not cool. But I did have a lot of fun with it for a couple months. Alright, Berlina. Let's see if I can get her to show back up. Yeah, AFT for the win there. Oops. Alright, we got a big-ass nasty spider over there. I don't think this counts as a mighty enemy, so I'm going to go ahead and leverage my totems here first. Oh, nice dodge. Jeez, that spider moves quick for such a big fella. These Atronachs. Oh, I thought I killed him. I just knocked him down. These Atronachs are quite powerful at this level. Well done, Berlina. Oh, and the wind filled you too. Maybe I'll do a quick save before I fight the giants. I'll do one pass with the Philia, and another with the totems, just straight up. I wish a new Quake game would come out with a multiplayer like Quake 3. Yeah, there is a current Quake game, isn't there? That's been out for a couple of years. And I don't remember what it's called, but it's I think it's still supported by Bethesda. It's just those the Quake games are super hardcore. They're almost like a Counter Strike or Global Offensive type thing, where it's like you have to be on your game. You have to be good at that game in order to get anywhere with it. Overwatch, Fortnite, those games are a little more accessible. Even Call of Duty, much more accessible. But the old school shooters like Quake 3, Arena, Unreal Tournament, those games are tough, man. There's a huge... the learning curve, not so much, but just getting your skill levels up to the point where you can compete effectively against people who have been playing those games for, you know, the last 20, 25 years. 30 years even in some cases. Not a fan of the mammoths? Yeah, this character, I think that he uses his mammoth fights as a way to prove his strength to shore. It's a religious thing for him. Personally, in real life, I hate poachers. Don't kill animals for fun. That's horrible. Don't do it. In terms of this character, though, I believe it is something that that is in character, and that's something that an ancient Atmoran would do. Killing mammoths for sport. Sorry. It sucks, I know, but... in terms of gameplay, too, mammoths are really tough to take one-on-one. Stream shut down for anyone else? Okay, so are we back? On my preview panel here, I'm doing well. It looks like the quality might be suffering a little bit, but still buffering a bit. Okay, before we get into this, then I'll see if I can wait for this to even out a little bit more. Oh, yeah, we are buffering. Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's all in the name of role-playing a character. Mammoths are also really tough opponents in the game, very tough enemies, and it's kind of a way for me to capture some engaging video footage of how effective this shaman build can be through the Triumvirate mod. So compelling footage was also a choice in you know, fighting mammoths. Okay. We're still buffering. Wow, this is rough, huh? Okay. Alright. It looks like my quality warning has just gone away. Oh, it's come back. Jeez. I wonder if my wife is like watching a 4K movie or something out in the living room, and that's why we're getting some issues. That shouldn't affect my upload speed, so which is what this is. All right. Maybe the archive will get better, but I do want to show off the Winfilia or Filia, and I got to remember what hotkey I have this set to. Summoned Winfilia. Okay, so 1 is Spirit Fire. 2 is the Tree Totem. 3 doesn't do anything. So downward angle, let's try. 1 is a Healing Totem. 2 down is just a healing spell. Hold down. There we go. Hold down on the directional pad is my Winfilia. Alright, so I can't summon a totem and a Winfilia at the same time because they both count as summons. Until I get March of Oblivion, that's gonna have to be a trade-off, a tactical decision whether or not to use one or the other. But here's the Winfilia. It is a summon, but it's unique in that you take direct control of the summon, and he controls like a horse, except faster. You can't attack with him directly, but he does automatically attack. And there are different types of Philias that you can summon and control. To me, right now, their life bars are too small to use in any kind of a direct combat kind of way. They'll work better if the enemy is already engaged with a follower or a totem. They also work really well to be able to scout ahead different areas. So here I can use this Philia to run through here and just make sure that there aren't any surprises waiting for me. It also tears through Magicka super quickly. You can go around corners into different rooms and everything, as long as you don't reach its maximum distance, like what it was warning me about there. So that's the Philia. And this time around, I'm only going to use the Spirit Fire against this dragon, so that, or not dragon, giant, so that I can show off the shield thane used by being a devotee of Shore. So when entering combat with a mighty foe, Shore sends a shield thing to assist you and meditate to recharge. So let's just go ahead and meditate here while I'm at it here. That recharges our shield thing. Quick save. Let's go at this giant. And there he is. That is through Winter Sun. Oh, there is another giant here that I didn't see. Couldn't find with the Philia. But as you can see, that shield thane is quite powerful. He's taken multiple hits from these giants, and he's dishing out a lot of damage. And now that the mighty enemies have been vanquished, he perishes. So that's pretty cool. I actually had considered taking on the old gods to worship them instead of Shore, but I think that a ghostly apparition warrior like that works really well with a shaman, sort of like a spirit mage interpretation of a shaman or a shaman. So I think I'm probably actually going to keep him. I'm going to keep Shore along. I might look into what the old gods offer through the Winter Sun page on the Nexus, but I think I'll probably stick with Shore because I really like that ghostly apparition there. Which makes it even more of a priority to get this March of Oblivion perk in the Conjuration tree so that I can have him and some totems active at the same time. I also want to get a better hang of how to deal with these Philias and use them in more effective ways. Because at the moment, their uses are quite limited, in my opinion. True, but stealing, murdering people, and all of their fun stuff we do, and yeah, it's the same thing. And that's why I kind of like to play loose with my roleplay. I don't try